Well, should we stop down and talk about what we're doing here? We're not all together in the same place, and we're gonna have to do some episodes like this every now and then because
yes, and we can always blame somebody, right? Like this is somebody's fault. So who are we going to blame? Yeah, we can blame a little bit of Glenn. We can blame a little bit of Megan.
Why
can we? How can we blame Megan?
The office isn't ready. I don't know. We're moving to a new office.
Well, yes, that is true. We're moving into a new studio, and it is not ready, which might be the reason we have to do another one of these, maybe. But I'm pretty excited about it. Maybe we'll do another one at Rob's house because that was pretty nice too.
But Glenn, you're in Texas.
And Glenn's in Texas, yeah. But to be fair to Megan, it was really Glenn's fault because Megan has been working tirelessly to get us from one building to another, and it's actually going to happen rather quickly. So really, Glenn, this is all your fault.
Yeah. That's I'd say that's accurate.
Because you wanted to support your wife so bad.
Yeah, this is what I get for supporting my wife. I'm out here in South by Southwest in Austin. And, it's, I don't know if you guys have ever been to South by Southwest, but the whole town is just a big party. It was crazy.
I've been to Austin several times, and I always enjoy going to Austin. But I've been to so few, like, festivals and things. And I think it would be so fun. It is
fun.
Smattering.
Yeah. Jill's movie premieres tonight, so that'll be interesting. That'll be fun.
Exciting.
But yes, this is my fault. This is my fault.
I appreciate you taking responsibility for that, Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Although I guess you could also say it was, I'll take some responsibility or some blame because normally we do it during the week and I'm unavailable this week. So maybe it's actually my fault.
Oh, so it would have happened anyway. Would have been this way anyway.
I suppose I'm also I also have to take some blame because I'm the one who's always insisting that we find an office that's sort of equidistant between the three of us. So the fact that we even had to move offices, I don't know. I'm just trying to throw my hat in the ring. It's not really my fault. You guys' fault.
Should we talk about this episode?
Yeah. I watched it with my son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
How was that experience?
Well, yeah. We've been trying to dip our toes into a little bit. He's turning 12, and we started dipping our toes into, allowing him to watch some of the episodes. And we thought, again, having no memory of it whatsoever, we thought maybe this one might be a fun one to get into. And there are aspects of the story that are, but then this is really where we establish Dennis as a sexual predator in some capacity.
There's some of that for sure. This, to me, I'm like, we don't yet know what the show is and we're looking for it.
Yeah.
Like there's some
for sure, yeah,
super cartoonish elements of this story which I did not enjoy watching personally.
Yeah, no, we pushed it on this one real far, and I remember us talking about this actually when we were writing it too. I remember when we were working on this episode, we were like, "This is really insane, like what we're doing here." And I think, because it was the first time we had to do 15 episodes, which I think was pretty overwhelming to us at the time. Well, hell, that would be overwhelming to me now. I don't think we had time to really second guess ourselves. I think we just had to press on and make the best of it that we could. And I would actually argue that for as cartoonish as it is, it did make me laugh. I was laughing a lot, but it is ridiculous. I mean, we go from just, bar owners and you guys are going clothing shopping to like running a full-on sweatshop by the end where you have a steam whistle. And we've hired a bunch of Eastern European knockwurst smelling women to sew clothes for us. I mean, it's.
But that opening scene,
I would do. There was the opening scene was
the opening scene is so great, and I remember distinctly.
Yeah.
First of all, Judy Greer, who's fantastic, and we knew her from Arrested Development, right? That's where we knew her from, and so I remember on that day that was not scripted that Charlie has all the hats and all the clothes on, and he didn't tell anybody he was doing it. I distinctly remember, and it was a reveal. And so D walks over, and the camera just pans over. Charlie's full on laughing, or at least smiling. I remember being behind the monitors and laughing.
He's got a big.
That's one I'm sure I was just doing for you guys, being like, all right, let me see if I can throw them off here.
And
It's the stack of hats and the stack of hats and the fact that you found a hoodie that could actually go over
the stack of hats.
Most hoodies wouldn't go over that many hats.
I don't know who this character is, but he's in my mind from somewhere in my childhood. But like, do you remember the Great Gazoo? He was like a cartoon character, kind of like the Martian in Warner Brothers Big Bunnies thing, but like, I don't know, some big brain, like alien guy. And I was going for a Great Gazoo look.
Well, I definitely remember being in a store and early on, and even still to this day, but certainly early on, we would barely be able to afford to shut a store. We definitely couldn't shut a store down. So the store would be like, okay, you guys can shoot here, but we're going to keep it open. And then it would just be like rando people walking in and being like, what's going on in the middle of a take? And we'd be like, we're making a show. and that's because that's all we could afford. And so we would be kind of like huddled up in the side of a clothing store, and people would just be walking by, just shopping, going about their day. I think we just didn't have any money, and everybody was just doing the best they could. Like Locations was like, how much is my budget? Oh, okay. Well, they walk in, they're like, I'll give you $50 to let us shoot here. And the owners are like, sure, but we're staying open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't think the guys in there like, this isn't one of those shows where that matters. You know what I mean? And
like, that's right.
It really, the production value, and have you seen this show? It looks like shit. It does not matter. There will be people looking directly into the camera. Like, that's fine. The guys don't really care about that.
I have found that is often a thing. You go around and you're scouting locations, and they'll like, okay, it's one price to buy the whole thing out, which is usually pretty expensive. It's another price to shoot in here, but we're staying open, but you got to kind of stay out of our workspace. You got to like find a corner to shoot in. And I think we did a lot of option B deals, and probably still do, you know.
But yeah, but anyway, so the dentist character. I mean, you're so funny in this, Glenn. Like and it starts the peak. It starts with you haven't begun to peak yet, which that's endured.
Yeah, I mean, I can see myself as an actor, and I do remember, and I think we have talked about this, but like I do remember that season 3 really was the year where I feel like I found the character. I mean, it took, I mean, not that it wasn't there before, but like I really felt like I was, as an actor, just sort of like letting myself be a little bit more insane and crazy and unhinged and just weird, just making weird choices and just kind of doing whatever I thought was funny, and taking a risk that other people would find it funny too. But I can see that also in this episode, Rob. Like I can see myself like just trying on like let's just see how despicable and egotistical and awful and narcissistic and predatory can we make this character and still have it be funny. It's just like, how far can I push this guy? And you do see a lot of that in the episode, and ironically, that is it. That you're starting to see really who the character becomes, who he really became.
Well, you went on a run on, and I feel like I can't remember specifically, but I think we probably had some debate over whether or not we could do this for your character or in general. But you have the funny run of like, words like no or stop or don't have never worked on me. And I feel like I remember some debate about it, but I don't remember like if you might have been uncomfortable with it.
We definitely weren't. We definitely all were, but I remember just kept saying, yes, but if we're going to do the thing, let's do the thing. So if we're going to suggest that these are the worst people on the planet and that's the joke, then let's just go all the way into it. And how can we do that in every which way?
Yeah, I remember that too, Charlie. As a matter of fact, it'd be interesting to maybe go back and try and find the original shooting script of that, because I think a lot of that stuff maybe wasn't even in the script. I think that was stuff that we were like messing around with on the day.
I feel like it was.
And yeah, I think there was a lot of improv happening there around that section. And I remember us, I remember us like laughing a lot, but also thinking like, also all of us being very uncomfortable, but in a way that we were like, I think we should push through this discomfort because it is making us laugh, and we are portraying this awful, awful human being, and a certain mentality that, again, this is what our show is. That is a mentality that really does exist. You know what I mean? It's like this misconception of what it means to be a confident winner. It's so despicable to us, the three of us and all of us as people, that it was.
Well,
it
but
was
then,
a little
we
tough
have Judy's character saying over and over, and including that in that one scene with the model, and then with Ingrid Nelson, where they're straight up saying, "You are a bad person. You are a piece of shit." Like, and they're the mirror to the audience, right? The audience is looking at that and saying, "Oh yes, the show is recognizing that this behavior is terrible." And my 11-year-old is watching it, and he's like, "Dennis is insane, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, he's the bad guy in the story, and I'm like, "Yes." Okay, so the 12-year-old gets it. That's a good sign.
Can I speak for all women why I think it works? At least for me, why I like it. It's the combination of that rant about words like no and stop and the winners thing, and also Dennis's obsession with the body shape of this woman. And it all comes from a place for me of feeling like someone in his past, maybe his parents, maybe his coaches, someone fed him these like messages about what is good and what it takes to succeed. And that is what he's like regurgitating. And so to me, like the whole thing as a whole works almost as like being about toxic masculinity and the way that like it's ingrained as you cannot fail in this thing. This woman can't reject you. And also having Judy there to be like, I see a woman, an uncomfortable, confused woman stuffed into a dress. Like that is
It's always
really
about some
funny.
kind of mania with us. Like I feel like we really stumbled on like, okay, if these characters are borderline maniacal with their insecurities, really, then it starts to become funny. But I don't know, sort of,
Yeah, he kicked down. He
He
kicked a
kicked
door.
down a door.
We just
kicked
kept
down a
doubling
door.
down and doubling down and doubling down.
is that when we started the kicking in door jokes? Because we did a bunch of kicking
Yeah.
in doors. Where we're like, you kicked it in, and we reveal it was kicked in.
Have you guys ever kicked in a door?
We had a door in Brooklyn that we had to kick in one time. It was surprisingly easy.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You actually kicked in a door? Is what you're saying?
Yes, our door to our apartment, we got locked out of it, and we kept calling the building manager, and he wasn't around, and we were like, "There's no way to get into this door." So, and I think somebody tried to like jump into it, and that doesn't work because it hurts your shoulder. But if you just back up and kick the door at the hinge, what happened? It doesn't break the lock; it just breaks the door hinge rather easily.
Oh,
Now again, this is probably like I don't know when this building was built. It was a piece of shit, so I'm sure doors are much more reinforced now. But it was surprisingly easy.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Well, yeah, I mean, we do try to kick in the door marked private.
Yeah.
In the Korea
We
episode.
tried a battering
that's
ram
coming up.
me
Yeah.
into it.
We actually do battering ram a door open in season 5 in the episode where we're the mortgage crisis episode. We use an actual battering ram. Just bash
Yeah.
through that door. Do you guys remember that?
I was gonna say I had a buddy in college. We were at this. We were at like someone's house party, and there was a big snowstorm. And this was pre-cell phones, right? So he had left the party. He comes back like hours later. The party's like, guys, bad news, man. Somebody broke into our apartment. But I got home right when the guy had broken in, and he like scrambled out the window or something. And we're like, oh shit. And you saw the door was all kicked in and everything. And we're like, man, oh, glad you got here in time. Then, it's like late at night, and I kind of was still up, and the buddy who saw the guy had gone to sleep. And I start thinking about his story, thinking about it. I'm like, and I go and I grab this dude's shoe, and it perfectly matches the shoe print in the door. And what had happened was he was just so hammered and he lost his key that he kicked the door in and came up with a whole crazy story instead of going all the way back to the party in the snowstorm and getting someone else's key. But we busted him on it. He had to fix the door.
Wow. So you guys have both have kicking indoors stories. I don't have any kicking indoors.
That's
or
probably
anything.
good. That's
Never had to
probably
kick in a
good.
door.
Don't want to have to kick it.
I always thought it would be. It always sounded fun to me, though. It's one of those things like, God, that sounds. There's like a handful of things that always sounded kind of interesting to me that I always wanted to test the theory of. Like when I was a kid, I was always like, like kicking a door down. Like what? How
Why don't we
hard
do this? Why don't we, in our new studio, we just commit to whatever the cost is to repair a door,
Mhm.
okay? And then we just give you your dream, buddy. This is Hollywood. Like you can do whatever you want. Let's
kick in
lock
a
a door.
door.
Let's find a door that you can kick in, and we'll
Yeah.
put it on the podcast, and you can talk about your experience of kicking the door in and how you felt before, how it changed you.
I think
Right. Yeah. Well,
No.
let me throw this out there because I've got a list of things. It's not just the door. There's like
That you
a
wanna
whole
kick
list
in?
No. A whole list of
you
things
wanna
that
do.
things that I've always seen that I saw in movies a lot as a kid that I always wanted to check out. Like one of them's kicking in a door. Now that's an easy one to set up. This next one I'm about to name is would not be so easy. But by the way, we should do that because I really would like to do that. It means a lot to me that you would spend the money on a door, or at least split it. We'll split it.
Yeah.
We'll split the door.
Yeah, we'll suppose.
it depends on the door, right? If it's like one of those, like within a building from one room to another, sure. But if we're talking about from the outside of a building into a building, those are
I
tougher
think
doors to
we
kick in.
start with an inside door.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Glenn, what else is on that list, Glenn? Let's see if we can get like a checklist of things that Glenn's always wanted to do, and then we can do them. We can create and provide the environment for you to achieve your dreams.
Okay, well, I don't know that we can do this next one, but I've always wanted to know what it was like to actually sink in quicksand. You know what I mean? Like,
Megan,
I want to know.
Megan,
If
can you look up where can we get some quicksand?
I feel like quicksand was portrayed in so many different movies. Like when we were kids growing up. Like, I mean, most famously, like there's the scene in the Neverending Story, of course, where the horse sinks. That was awful because apparently that horse really died. You guys know that, right? That horse actor, that horse.
What?
That horse in that real scene actually died.
No.
They couldn't get it out. They couldn't retrieve it. Yeah. Look it up, Megan.
Please, God, I hope that's not the.
They're like, okay, and cut. Great job. Let's get the horse and
Did you say get? Did you say get the horse? No.
oh, sorry, you wanted 2 takes of the horse. Okay, all right.
But this was your
Because
horse.
There's no.
Oh no, that is so
All right.
sad. And the whole point of the scene, right, was that the horse didn't believe anymore, and the kids begging.
Wait,
no.
hold on. I'm
kids-
seeing online that that's not true. Which I'm so glad because
I'm so happy.
I was so
that's not
traumatized by
true.
that scene fake that so Entertainment Weekly, if you believe that, says the horse didn't really die despite what's been said throughout the years. We had 2 identical white horses and it was shot over a few weeks. That scene.
I don't know. I mean, I was at an Entertainment Weekly party last night. I don't know if I trust those people.
That's that sounds like a dead horse cover up.
And then, of course, there's the quicksand scene in The Princess Bride.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
Right.
in the fire swamp.
In the fire swamp. I do believe there are other quicksand. There was like an obsession with quicksand. We were obsessed with quicksand.
Lots of cartoons, like Bugs Bunny cartoon kind of things.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
a lot,
we
lot
did
of
we did a
quicksand
version
stuff.
of it this season in Sunny with the bog.
That's
We
right.
did a version.
Yeah, I
of
was very happy about that, by the way. I was also very happy that I wasn't the person who had to do it. When we get to that episode, we should have Caitlin tell the story of shooting that scene because her story of her experience of actually sinking in that mud is so funny and so messed up. Yeah, she has done a lot of things for the sake physical things to her body for the sake of comedy, and that is one of the more upsetting ones.
Meg, can you see if
God bless her.
quicksand does exist somewhere on this
Yeah,
planet?
I was there
does.
for that. I was there for that shooter, and I asked her to go under. I was like, if you could, it'd be great if you could go under for one. And she did.
But it wasn't even I don't even think that was the worst part of it. It sounded like it was going up her pants, and bubbles were going up her pants, and she thought they were like little creatures crawling up her pants, but it was just bubbles, and she didn't. She was like, but I don't. She didn't want to stop the take because she was like, if I. I don't want to ruin this.
Yeah.
Then you got to redo it. And she's like, I think there's little creatures like crawling up inside my body right now. But she was like, but we got to get this like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. Kudos to her, man.
Wait, so Meg, where's there quicksand in this world?
So quicksand really does exist, and it's basically when sand is so small and fine and it mixes with water. But what I'm seeing is that you can't really drown in it in the way that they portray in movies. It's not sucking you down into it, but quicksand is a phenomenon that can happen when water reduces the friction of like very fine sand.
Now, if somebody were to give you a paralytic, a paralyzing drug of some kind, and pop you on some quicksand and just slowly let you sink, that's pretty fucking diabolical. I think that would work.
All right, what else? What else do you want to do?
And what else? What are your dreams?
Well, this one I've actually gotten to do, and I have to say I was very excited about it. The first time I've gotten to do this a few times, and I don't know if you guys have ever played this game. It's so stupid. Sorry. Okay, so the first time I got to do this was when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, because I'd never had any kind of surgery prior to that, and the guy was like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put an IV in you. And I'm gonna have you count down from 20 or something like that, or maybe it was 10. I don't remember. And then you're gonna go night night. And I was like, ooh, I've seen this in like James Bond movies where like they give the hero a drug and he's got to try to stay awake as long as he possibly can, because if he falls asleep, he's dead. So I thought like, ooh, I wonder how long, if I really, really put some effort into this, I wonder how long I can stay awake, right? So he puts the needle in and I'm like, okay, here we go. Oof. 10.
Yeah, exactly. When you're out.
I had the same
I think I made it
thing happen where I did the same thing where I was like, I'm gonna try and stay awake. I was like, what? I asked the guy, like the anesthesiologist, how long has someone been able to stay? Like, what's the number that they can get to?
So you did this too.
I did the same exact thing. I've done it twice. And two different anesthesiologists. And
yeah, same.
And both times, but more specifically the first time, the guy was like, what do you mean? I'm like, what number do you think I can make it to if I'm counting down? He goes, what number do you want to get to? And I said, I don't know, like 6. He goes, all right, then I'll put you out on 6. And I go, well, no, I mean, maybe I want to do 4.
No, that's
he's
not
like,
the game.
he's like, then I'll put you out on 4. And I'm like, no, I want to try and get there. You try to put me out on 10. He goes, buddy, if I try to put you out on 10, you'll go out on 10. You'll go out whenever I tell you to go out. And I was like, okay, fine. So I go 10. And wake up.
Yeah.
I know there are other things that are on that list, and I actually think I have that list somewhere. And the reason I have it is because I think I've maybe tried to pitch it for the show before, where our characters actually want to experience these things that they saw in 80s movies.
Is Get Blown to Safety one of them? That's such a great 80s movie thing, where like the explosion happens on you and then you're like rocketed into like a body of water.
Yeah.
The Rock is a famous one. Like The Rock where he's like, and he just like gets blown into water. It's like, thank God that I got blown to safety.
To be clear, that you're talking about The Rock, the Michael Bay joint, not the
Michael Bay
The
movie,
Rock.
not the
Although
actor.
I would say probably the actor The Rock has also been blown to safety.
He's probably been blown to safety a few times too. Blown to safety.
I can, yeah. And if he hasn't, I'm sure it's in his next contract, because he's like, when do I get to be blown to safety? Those are all the movies I grew up with, because he grew up with the same movies we did.
Yeah.
He wants to be blown to safety, just like all of us do. Without somehow, I guess the trick to being blown to safety really is, A, how flexible is your spine, right? Because you're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna, when it hits you, depending on if it's from the front or the back, but either way, your spine's going to go like that. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, what's your tolerance for shrapnel?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, you got to
because
the shrapnel hopefully is blown around you, but not directly into you.
Yeah.
And
or you get a
three,
couple pieces in you, but
is there something soft you can land into when you're blown to bits?
that's right. Is there a mattress truck going by just as you get blown?
Yeah, truck full of chicken feathers, or like, you know, is there a swimming pool somewhere is ideal? And the explosion
Yes, because
goes over the top of
you might be on fire, and the pool will put you out, right? I mean, it's really
I
a
think
question
that's
of
the
whether or
ideal
not
scenario.
your body can defy the laws of physics, because that is what's happening, right? In that
Yes,
scenario. You're surviving the.
Well, I don't
you're
know. Is
somehow
it-
surviving the concussive force that is so strong it can blow your body somewhere else, but isn't decimating the flesh on your corpus.
Well, on your corpus. Is that right?
No.
Did you use that word
No.
properly?
Oh.
All right, Glenn, what do you got?
One of them's just like getting chloroform.
Oh.
Having somebody put
Yeah.
put a chloroform over. That's something we could do.
Well, that's propofol.
That's something we
Yeah,
could do.
that's essentially propofol, isn't it? Like it's.
I don't know.
How am I going to explain these expenses to my
That-
business manager?
I would be
Chloroform.
concerned,
Now-
I would be
now-
concerned about the chloroform because there's a chance the
Well-
person doesn't come out, and then
Yeah.
so
that's
the only
fine.
way that works is if you chloroform yourself, because I don't want to be on the hook for that.
I'm not going to be a part of this chloroforming
Yeah.
each other.
According to the movies, you got to pour it on the cloth and you got to get it around the guy's mouth, and you got to hold it there for a while. Like, it doesn't happen instantly. You got to. There's going to be some struggle
Right.
first.
That person has to
There's
have
gonna be a little bit
one
of struggle.
good inhale.
I'm glad you're saying he's going to struggle.
It's a he on he
You know what?
chloroforming, yeah.
You know what? This is a he on he in my mind, and you know
In
what?
your
Megan?
fantasy.
I'm way more glad. My fantasy.
It's good. It's good that it's
I'm far
good
more
that it's a
glad that I
man
said
in your
he than you.
fantasy. It is good. It's good.
Yeah, but it worries
Yes,
it worries me a little.
Yeah, well, this man doesn't have a mustache because the mustache gets in the
But I
way.
like to believe I can
So,
count.
you know.
I can fight it off the way that I could not as well as I could fight off the propofol, but I could fight off the chloroform. I think.
I think we should find out how toxic it is, right? Like, we don't want to do any permanent damage here. But if we're looking at a situation where it's not that bad for you,
All right. I'll do that.
and
I'll do that.
It certainly sounds like a good time.
If we find out that it's really not a huge deal to knock someone out with a noxious chemical gas, then I would do
You'll
that
do it.
where you try to chloroform me and I try to fight it off.
So all of our fantasies get to come
Yeah.
true.
What does that
no.
mean? You try to fight
I-
it off? Do you get to physically try to fight Glenn
Yeah,
off?
okay.
Because that's a big part
Okay.
of not being
Okay, but
chloroformed. It's like,
here's
okay, the guy put the rag over my mouth. I'm going to kick backwards, try to catch his nuts, and scramble out of that really quick.
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm going to try to not let the chemical.
Yeah, fair. I would say we could start. We
Go
could
into my
start in a
brain.
very specific position, which I have to let him get it to my face, and then
No,
from
I
there,
think, Rob, if you really want to do this, we have to see that it's safe, and then we have to not let you know when Glenn's going to chloroform you.
That's true.
That's the real test.
Okay,
Is if he starts doing it,
yeah.
can he do it quick enough to knock you out?
I got to be ready for it at any time.
Oh, I don't want to be a part of this.
No, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
I don't blame you. We definitely shouldn't do it, but we should definitely research.
No, we should not do it. We shouldn't let people in general know that it's something that can or cannot be done, right? Like, this is,
We're
you know,
pulling
for
from
every-
movies. We're pulling from movies from the past 30 years.
yeah, but somebody out there is listening to our podcast being like, wait, oh, really?
But are
all I
we
gotta
real?
do is
Look,
this?
that's like when you watch those commercials and there's somebody driving a truck off the top of a building and crashing into the ground, and then they have to put the disclaimer underneath it: "Do not attempt." I mean,
That's
is
right.
that where we are as
That's
a
right.
fucking culture, that we just have to cater to every dum-dum on the planet and be like, "Well, hey, just FYI, this isn't real, and you shouldn't do this." Fuck off. Like, where's there's no personal responsibility whatsoever. Get out of here.
Yeah, but it is real. We're talking about really doing it to each other.
Yes, but to
We're not
suggest,
fictionally doing it.
but
Yeah, we're talking about how well you can fight it and how well it works. You know, we're giving people ideas. Here.
Right, and how much fun it is, to perform that experiment.
Yeah.
well, so we should just suggest that we are professionals, right? And like you should not try this at home because we are professionals.
Leave it to the professionals, guys.
I would like to, based on every movie I've ever seen in my entire life, I just want to watch somebody get knocked unconscious with one punch. That seems to happen in movies all the time. I've seen it in the UFC. I've seen it in professional fighters.
Of course.
But I've never seen that in person. And I've certainly never seen that like done to multiple people. Where, you know, like in a movie, you'll watch somebody, Jean-Claude Van Damme or fucking Steven Seagal, just knock out like 8 guys in a row. And I've asked some of my UFC friends, some like real scary people who can fight, like, hey, how would you handle 3 guys? And the answer is always the same: run as fast as you can. And those are like the toughest guys like on the planet Earth.
Well, you guys have all seen those great videos of 6'5" Steven Seagal, like just throwing little 5-foot dudes around the room. Like, that shit is so weird. Like, it does look amazing. Like you know, and he looks like he's half asleep while he's doing it. He's just like, and the guy just goes flying, and he's just like doing this, and they're just like all just like doing flips and falling all over the place. Like, and he's just like, he barely has his fucking eyes open, you know, and he's just doing, and, you know, that's some shit. Like, yeah, just flailing his hands around. Like, I can't tell if that guy is completely fucking badass or just totally full of shit or some combination of the two. I really can't. Because it looks good. You know what I mean? Like, if nothing else, he's a good dancer. You know what I mean? He's a cool looking.
Well, there's a
dance partner.
famous story about Steven Seagal that in the martial arts world, where he was famous for beating up stunt guys and hurting stunt guys, but not because the stunt guys are there to perform the stunts, and you're supposed to do that in a safe manner. And he was very famous for like really like getting guys hurt. And so there's one stunt coordinator who was a legend in the martial arts world, whose name Gene LaBelle, and that he was his nickname was Judo Gene.
Yeah.
And there's a famous story where Steven says to Judo Gene, you could never choke me out because you could never get a hold of me. And he was like, well, I believe I could. And Steven's like, okay, well, let's see you try. And so Steven goes after him, and Judo Gene LaBelle chokes him out right in the middle of the set. And then he wakes up and then is like, well, that was bullshit. You know, you can't do it again. And he did it again. And then while Steven Seagal was unconscious, he shit himself. And so he shit himself and woke up. Now, there are people who swear that they were there in the room and saw it and smelled it. And it was very clear that Steven Seagal had shit himself while he was unconscious. I choose to believe that happened.
Yeah.
I want to know what else is on Glenn's list. Like, we've only been in quicksand and chloroform. What else you got?
Yeah, the other one was cutting open a huge bag of cocaine and testing it on your gums. You know,
with like a knife.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I always found that interesting. Like, here's how my brain works, right? Whenever I see that in a movie, you know, there's like a big, tightly packed thing of cocaine, and a guy takes a knife and he cuts into it, and then he puts a little on the tip of the knife, you know, and he either snorts it or he dips his finger in and he goes like that. First of all, my first thought is like, well, now that bag of cocaine, that's gonna be a mess. There's a giant hole in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, fuck, now is somebody gonna tape that up or something? Like,
yeah, it's like, hey,
I don't know why that, but that's where my mind
here
goes.
bring extra tape. I don't want this to spill everywhere. But you got to get into it. You got to get into it somehow.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If you really need to test it on the spot, which, I mean, I think if you've got just like a giant crate and it's all filled with tightly packaged things of white powder, you know, you're not, it's not baking soda. You know what I'm saying? It's not a fucking Arm & Hammer truck. It's fucking cocaine, okay? You probably don't need to taste it.
It does feel like there were so many tropes, like from growing up, like quicksand, chloroform, testing the cocaine on the gums. That are they still in? There's so many movies now I guess it's not the same for a kid growing up, right?
Well,
Where
no,
you're
because
like,
now there's
For us-
more women making movies, so that changed a lot of things.
Right.
Changed a lot of things.
I got to do a movie thing actually because of Rob. I got to drive a tank over a car.
wait, what?
So I was in Vegas with my husband. We were doing a road trip, and I texted Rob because I was like, oh my God, my husband's taking me to this gun range. And because he wanted to shoot a bunch of World War II era guns, because he's like a history nut and he just wanted to like test out some of these old machine guns and stuff. And I was like, this place is so wild. They have this like experience here where you can drive a tank over a car. And then, so I just like texted him that. And then I was sitting there waiting for my husband's like appointment. And a guy comes out and he's like, is there a Megan around here? Because somebody's on the phone wanting to like get you this tank experience. So he called them and like signed me up for it. And they put me in a tank and they have these like beater cars. And I got to like push the controls forward and like drive a tank over a car. And like it blew out all the windows. It was awesome. It was like one of the coolest things I've ever done in my whole life.
Wow. That if I'd thought of it, that definitely would have gone on my list.
Well, what about I think for me it wouldn't be a tank, but it would be a monster truck. What was the big monster truck when we were kids?
Yeah.
There was one. Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Man, imagine driving Bigfoot over like like a series of like 10 cars.
Have you guys been to a monster truck rally? It's
Hell
super
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, they are fun. It's loud as
It's very
shit.
loud.
I took my oldest son to one when he was like 3 years old, and he was too much for him. He was like,
Yeah, it's kind of a lot for the kids.
well, actually, once he had
The
the
noise canceling
I thought
thing.
it was also cool.
They
They
sell
gave
them like in the lobby.
they handed yeah, and they looked like big truck tires. It was kind of
that's
cool. You know what I
fun.
mean? It looked like
That's fun.
and they were less like a monster truck thing. Once he put those on, he was fine. It was crazy loud. Like he was fucking scared, man. It was like, you know, and all these like people like, like it was very
Sensory
intense.
overload.
It was
One
very
thing
intense.
you don't see
Yeah, it was
as much
sensory overload.
anymore is just straight on gratuitous sex scenes. You don't see that as often, where they'll just take a break, and this was just fully accepted and beloved, especially by 12, 13-year-old boys who didn't have access to the internet, and there would just be a movie, action movie or whatever, and then 3/4 of the way through it, it would just stop. And then you would just watch two people fuck in like a very sensual way that had nothing to do with the story, and it didn't matter. And then they would just move on with the movie. And you don't see that as often, I don't think.
I feel like it's moved to
No,
HBO like series, like a lot of banging in HBO.
Sure, but
television
like
series.
if you're talking about a show like Euphoria or shows that like revolve specifically around that being a part of the show, as opposed to just a random scene of, well, now we're gonna stop everything down to make love, and then we're gonna pick the story back.
It seemed more out of the story. Yeah, totally.
That definitely seems like the product of men running Hollywood. Like that is definitely a byproduct of that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I'm glad that even when I was at a young and more impressionable age, I found those scenes uncomfortable. I was like,
I don't know. I loved it. It was like that was an opportunity because we didn't have access to pornography, so it was like that was the closest thing you could ever see to like a woman's body and I don't know, and then they would. I'm thinking of like Top Gun. Remember Top Gun? In fact, I think we did a parody of it on Sunny, where it was just like this movie about like. Yeah, with your wife.
With my
fighter
wife.
jets. Yeah, that's the thing. See, that's the difference between old Hollywood and new Hollywood. We do a love scene like that, and we have Dennis in it, and we cast your wife because we felt like that would be the most appropriate way to do it, as opposed to just bringing in an actor that you would then have this wildly needless sex scene. But then also that
but are we better off as a society, or like are we not getting that out of our? Are we just Fast and Furious now, and would we have been Fast, Furious, and fucking? But now we're just.
But wait, do Fast
just
and Furious? I don't
guys.
see those movies. Do they have sex scenes? They gotta have sex scenes in them, right?
I don't think so.
No, the eroticism is handled by the fastness and the furiousness of the muscular men that are performing the tasks that are needed of them. You know what I mean? Like it's all very sexual, by the way. It's just not in the way that it used to be.
Yeah.
What was the first movie you guys saw? What was the first movie? I can remember the very first pair of breasts that I had ever seen, and it was in a movie.
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Right?
No.
What were the first?
Was it Airplane?
Was it,
That
was it
that might- I think that might have been
Vacation?
mine, too.
Was it
No,
Chevy Chase's
but that was
Vacation?
around the
'Cause
same time.
That might have been one of my first. Either that or Lethal Weapon. My first Lethal Weapon. One of those.
Yeah.
One of those.
Megan, I think mine might be the same as yours. I think, although
Airplane.
weirdly, I think I
Airplane.
saw Airplane 2 before I saw Airplane 1. I don't know how that happened, but Airplane 2 is also really, really funny. And they do the same gratuitous, like, women walking through the metal detector with, completely nude. And then, like, some dude comes through, like, just armed to the teeth with, like, machine guns and shit. And he puts him through the thing. They let him through, and then they grab some innocent old lady and throw her up against the wall and start frisking
Or like
her.
police. Well, at least
I
that's
love
part
those
of a
movies.
gag or
Oh,
a
Police
joke. Well,
Academy. Yeah, it might have been
Police
Police
Academy, it's not the joke is the cop who's a person of authority. Doesn't he like pour something on the women's backs who are sunbathing, and then they just get up and expose themselves? Like, I mean, again, we parodied that whole kind of like ski movies /
Probably.
romp.
Yeah,
Porky's.
probably, yeah.
But the first movie I ever saw,
Oh, Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds. I think.
Revenge of the Nerds, was
Yeah.
full nudity.
Sure.
Yeah,
Full
and rape.
oh yes,
Right.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
non-consensual sex. Did you ever see the movie Just One of the Guys? That was the
Oh,
first
yeah,
time
yeah,
I
of
had-
course. Yeah.
It's a young woman. She tries to pass as a guy,
right?
and then her best friend. She's falling in love with her best friend, who thinks that this is his bud, and then slowly but surely, she then tells him,
Yeah.
"I'm a woman," and he says, "No, you're not. That's impossible." And then to prove it, she rips off her shirt, and my mind exploded.
Yeah, she unwraps. Doesn't she unwrap? Didn't she have them
She
wrapped
did,
up or
but for the
something, or am I
moment of
thinking Hillary
exposure, she
Swank
just
and-
had her
and,
shirt on and
what's
just
her
like ripped it open. And
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus, like Hulk Hogan?
And I was watching it with Bob Bateman, and we were like, rewind, pause.
That was the thing, right? You had to pause it. You had to pause it, and you had to get,
Yeah.
because sometimes the scan lines, would be there like covering up, and you're like, damn it. You press play, pause it again, try to get those scan lines away from the boobies. Oh, guys, we got to end this because
Yeah.
I've got stuff to do.
I've got a plan for today. It's 11:30. What I'm going to do is
Okay.
I've got a plan to watch two movies today. My plan is to watch Charlie, your movie, your Amazon movie, and then I'm going to go watch Jill's
Okay.
documentary. That's the plan for the day. Yeah,
Oh.
we're going to go do that.
Oh, you sweet,
Nice.
sweet man.
It's gonna
It's
be
going to be an
enjoyable.
incredible day.
That is going to be enjoyable. They're both.
I'll
very good
let
movies.
you know. I'll let you know.
Are there
There's
boobies?
no
Yeah,
boobies.
and boobies in any of them?
I take my shirt off, so
Okay.
you can see my soft
Oh,
spot.
okay.
But there's no
No
boobies.
boobies. All right. Well, you have yours are boobies. Okay.
Hey, so unsurprisingly, this video is probably going to be covering a lot of not advertiser-friendly things.
So if you want to check out the full uncensored version, head over to our Patreon. We don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty spicy.
And concerning the guest that we have
Yes.
today, it's probably going to be spicy. So if you'd like to check out the uncensored version, patreon.com/trashtaste, links in the description. Anyway, let's start. Hello, you cultured gentlemen, ladies. I don't care what gender you are. You're all cultured. Welcome to the Trash Taste.
Every gender.
Every gender. We
welcome every gender.
As long as you're cultured, we welcome every
That is
gender.
our gender.
That is our gender. There are 3 genders. I'm Joey, and I'm with the boys as usual, and we have a special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Shindo L, and I do a manga.
What kind of manga?
What kind of manga?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. That's what's up. Let's go.
Is that how you introduce yourself to, some fellows of the public who might not be so familiar with your work?
I just used to say ero mangaka, and then people start saying, you don't have to say the ero part.
Mangaka was fine.
Manga's fine. It's like, okay, manga.
What do you say when they ask, what kind of series you draw? Oh, I haven't heard of you. I haven't heard of you yet.
Oh, then I go, yeah, ero manga.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They normally just stop there. They're like, I kind of get it. I'm not going to push too much on this.
Some people do. Some people are curious.
Yeah.
It's like the same. It's like, like porn directors who are just like, I'm a porn director. You could have just said director. Yeah, you could have just said you made movies. It's fine. Yeah.
I think it's fair to say I know the least about you and your work. I think these two know the most.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are many viewers who also are in the same position as me, where they saw your name in the title and they're like, I don't really know what it is that you do. So
Yeah.
is there some series that maybe the viewers might know? And if not, I guess they'll get an insight into the life of an ero mangaka today.
Well, when I got invited to talk on Trash Taste, I did some homework,
Okay.
and I saw the episode where you guys read my henshin,
Yeah.
Yes,
and I know Kanu doesn't think too highly of it.
This man got caught in 4K, dude.
I didn't know when we'd be reviewing stuff that the authors and makers would come in and talk to me about it.
I was like, oh,
Okay?
yeah, that's
Yes.
pretty shit. I'm like, wow, okay.
I have no words. Okay, I guess we'll jump right into it. Okay, you created Metamorphosis, right?
I did.
Very, very popular
Yes.
in the communities.
Definitely the most infamous dojin,
Yeah.
I'd say.
One of the most infamous dojin of all time, I would say, especially in the Western community.
I said something about it that I do actually, I do regret saying.
Really? Now you.
Now you do.
So two-faced.
My opinions on it haven't changed. There's one thing that I think I did just get massively wrong. I in the episode, I think I said something along the lines of like, it seemed unrealistic that the mum would blame the daughter for the dad.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Thing. And then I found out it's totally not unrealistic and that it's happened a bunch and that I lost a lot of faith in humanity when I
Oh,
found
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
People are fucked.
Who would have thought?
I feel like this is just my child innocent brain. I'm like, no, a mum would never blame them. So, okay, this
Oh, you sweet summer child.
so I guess we should.
But this is like a trash taste first. Never before has a guest come on and said, "Heard you were talking shit."
I get smacked. I'm like, all right, Dad, get the bell out. Fuck.
Shindo just smacked the shit out of me.
I guess there's a lot of things that we need to cover. So,
Yes.
should we explain, I guess, what. We're going to advantage immediately now. What Metamorphosis is?
Yes.
Kind of, very
Yeah.
lightly. And then we'll talk in depth more a little later.
So like, how would you?
Yeah.
If someone asks you like, oh, I've heard this metamorphosis thing, henshin thing, like, but I've never read it. Could you like sell it to me? Like, what is it about?
God, it's like Requiem for a Dream, but like manga.
Okay.
That's probably the best way to explain it. Honestly,
That is honestly how I would explain it as well.
Yeah.
So I believe I said something very similar on like the podcast episode where we described it, where I was like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Requiem for a Dream, where it's just really depressing, but also there's a lot of sex in it.
It's like
More
Requiem for
ass to ass.
ass to ass, baby. It's Requiem for a Dream, but it was only that scene. That's probably the best way to explain it. Honestly.
I literally, the last time I read it was that episode. So I'm trying to remember what happens. It's like a high school girl meets a guy on the street and then they hook up and have sex in a.
Yeah, and like
in a karaoke.
Right.
yeah.
I feel
And
like, why
then
am I trying to
he-
explain your plot? I'm like, tell me if I'm right. And it just keeps escalating and escalating.
Yeah. So like,
Very adult, by the way.
okay, I guess we're jumping right into it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, how did you come up with that? I just got asked, what were your inspirations in
Well,
writing that?
It's a trope, right? Like first of all, it's the makeover trope.
Yeah.
So like, the girl takes off the glasses and she's hot, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the garuka, like
Turning into a girl.
turning into a garuka.
Yeah.
Right? And that's I've never drawn that before, so I'm like, let's try it out. And
It worked out pretty well.
that's how it turned out.
Yeah. Damn.
Did you know how like the story was going to develop before you started working on it, or was it just something? Because it's like it's a pretty long story in terms of like a lot of Ero manga compared to some one shots or one or two chapters. But this one was
It's
I
a
believe
full volume.
yeah, it was a full volume. Like, did you have everything planned out from the get go, or did it kind of develop
I
as you
didn't
wrote
have
it?
everything planned out, but I think I said in the afterwards that I had the ending out before I started.
Right.
And it's like, and I was talking to my editors about it, and they asked, so how does it end? I'm like, well, I just want her to die at the end. And they're like, oh.
Spoilers, by the way.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
I think I was so traumatized at the thing before. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I feel like her unfortunately dying was like one of the high points because like her suffering had ended by that point,
Yeah.
right? And that's like, did you always know you wanted it to be that depressing, or like?
I mean, like, I wanted it to be more depressing, but my editor was like,
You want it to be
you have to put like a little bit of levity in it. I'm like,
How?
fine.
Wait, hold on. What did you have to cut that would have made it more depressing?
Like, well, I couldn't put as many like drug scenes as I wanted to.
Right.
Because like in the magazine, because it gets published in a monthly magazine.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
And in the magazine, they had to like cover up all the drug bits.
Oh.
So like a syringe had to be like had a blur on it.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
So it should have been all
Yeah,
like
it's like
little
like
blurs.
I had the whole like like cooking up the drugs.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't do that.
Oh, damn.
Because like the cops are already kind of tough on Ero manga,
Yeah.
and they don't want like more pressure.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
Because it was certainly rare to see like drug use in just like even Ero manga or just, like
Right.
manga in general, and it was such a heavy theme, which I think is like super rare to see, in any kind of media that comes out from Japan.
Like I think in seinen manga you see some drug use.
Yeah.
Like Ushijima-kun or something.
Yeah.
But in hentai it's mostly like I don't know what it is. It's right now it's like
It's like aphrodisiacs. and stuff.
aphrodisiacs or
Yeah.
like hypnosis apps and stuff.
Yeah.
You're the smartphone app.
Yeah, the smartphone app. Yeah.
You are now horny.
Yeah.
See, because I didn't know anything about you. The only work I'd read was Metamorphosis, and I guess I didn't know when they were like, "Oh, Shindoel's coming on." I'm like, "Oh, does Shindoel speak English?" I didn't even know. Right? I didn't know anything. I guess when you made Metamorphosis, do you find that your experiences from like because you were raised in the US, right?
Yeah.
Does that have a lot of effect on how you write manga, or is it still very like Japanese?
I don't know. I think because I've been told that it's not Japanese.
Right.
Like my storytelling, but like
Right.
I tried to make it Japanese,
Yeah.
and I don't know if my experiences in New York really helped me.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen a lot of fucked up stuff in New York.
I've seen a lot of fucked up shit, but like, I try not to like directly put that into my storytelling. 'cause
Yeah.
It would kind of be like alien to most Japanese readers.
I'm just projecting all the Florida Man stuff I've seen. I'm like, you've seen a Florida Man thing, right? That's got to be in one of them.
I mean, I'm sure that's also the case, considering that I think like for a lot of Japanese people, New York is kind of like seen in this like glory light type of New York. Wow, like
It's
how
either like a glitzy New York or like 80s New York where it's like you get
Yeah.
stabbed and like
yeah.
and no one gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, just Metamorphosis. Did you expect it to be as like big? And,
I didn't expect it to be like so mean.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You see, I knew of the image of her wearing
Right.
the glasses.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
As an anime fan, there's some images that are like almost iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them is the girl with the glasses.
Right,
And then you're
yeah.
like, oh, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But, oh my god.
Yeah, did you like when you released it? Was it something that immediately got like picked up by the community, or was it something that you released and you had the usual reaction, and then over time it just blew up in popularity? And
It was an overtime thing because like when it was in the magazines, it was because the editors didn't want it to put it up front because it's kind of like shady.
yeah.
So it was always at the back.
Oh.
Damn. trying to push it under the rug. Right? Yeah.
So it's
Jeez.
kind of low key for a while until like people I think online just picked it up.
Yeah.
And started memeing on it.
Yeah, because I remember when I interviewed you like 3 or 4 years ago, I asked like if you know like the memes. And you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm very
I've
up to
seen
date on the
memes.
memes." Yeah. Because it's just like I don't know. Like, do you think like the memes like kind of I don't know take away from like the message that you were like trying to portray in Metamorphosis, or do you think just like kind of just like I enjoy the memes. It's whatever.
The memes are fine. I mean, I don't really I don't think about putting out a message when I make a story.
Right.
You know.
Just
But
something you want to talk about. Or
Right.
talk
I
about.
mean, like, I just wanted to make it entertaining first and foremost.
Yeah.
But I think
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if I felt entertained. Or something.
Well, you know, podcast is entertaining.
yeah. But I think though, like, regardless, I think like a lot of people read Metamorphosis and was like, there's some hidden message here. There's like some kind of like deeper meaning, like to this like story, because it's just so different to the standard doujins you would read, right? Like, the normal doujin is just like boy meets girl, boy fucks girl.
Yeah.
That's kind of it,
I mean, I would say like out of every Ero doujin I've seen or Ero manga, like I was probably like the most invested in any like story as I was in. I wasn't as invested in any other story as I was in Metamorphosis in terms of just seeing the characters develop in the development that you gave them, and just every like a lot of things outside of just the hentai scenes and the sex scenes and everything. I was properly invested in the characters and the ending, and that also made me even more invested in the Ero scenes as well.
Right.
I thought that was like fantastic. I don't know how much of it was planned on your ends, but it was absolutely incredible.
Well, as long as there's like a seed of a story in there, I think people will pick up on it.
yeah.
Because like, a lot of hentai, I think, especially since maybe early 2000s, they've been streamlining it to make it more like I don't know, fappable.
Yeah. I've
You know,
noticed.
Like they just jump straight
They
into
just
the
go-
fucking, and I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, come on, guys, like.
Like there are some doujins I've read where I'm like, I feel like I've skipped like 5 pages.
Yeah.
Because there's no build up.
Yeah, when I open a doujin, it's like page 2 or like even page
Right.
1. I'm
Page
like,
1.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, page 1 and they're already fucking. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
chill out. Like, ease me into this shit. God damn. Like,
I'll take that over the hentai that start with like 3 minutes of text explaining the story. Who thought that was a good idea?
no, but like some people are super into that, right? It's like, yeah, they are. Like,
What? It's just like it's like Star Wars text on
Oh,
the
yeah,
screen.
some movies just start out with like a monologue.
yeah.
What's happening?
It's the same people who enjoy, the interview sections at the start of porn, right? Like, they want to like get into the story beforehand. It's like, I want to feel invested in this.
Yeah, I have noticed another trend that's I've seen with a lot of Ero manga recently, or just not even recently. It's like like where they say the most important part of a YouTube video is the first 14 seconds.
Yeah.
So like there are some Ero manga that start off with just like the fucking for like the
Right.
first 3 pages, and then it goes to the story. Like you gotta hook the viewers.
Yeah, it's always like page 1 they're fucking, and then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, this is how it happened.
There's like an Ero manga algorithm. That you have to follow.
It's like AI generated. So I'm very interested to know so you lived in New York, right?
Right.
How do you then go from living in New York to being like, all right, I'm going to start drawing Ero manga in Japan? Like, how is that the transition that happens?
Well, I've always been drawing.
Right.
So like, and when you're a kid, you want I want to grow up and I just want to draw, right? And after college, I'm like, okay, how do I do that?
Right.
And like, I could start in the U.S., but then there's the comics industry, and it's kind of like, it's kind of a it's never, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you have to do this sort of work.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you want to like branch off, it's like really minor. It's like super underground.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a furry porn section, but it's like
That's how you make money, right?
Right,
Isn't it?
yeah,
exactly.
If you want to be a
browse
freelance
They're
artist.
loaded, dude.
Right.
Browse DeviantArt.
But if you go
Yeah.
to Japan, it's like this huge, and like back then, like mid 2000s, there was hardly any download like manga.
Yeah.
Right.
There was like BL site maybe, and that's about it. So I'm like, that's a low bar to
Yeah.
just upload stuff and like sell it. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, I guess it was like the closest to having like an independent scene
Right.
where you could just easily upload and just, kind of get your work out there instead of
Right.
like having to go through like so many publishers and getting picked up and stuff like that.
And I guess like a good way to like grow organically as well, right? Because like those kinds of works are just spread by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
you're always able to speak Japanese as a kid?
Oh,
or-
I had to work on it. I mean,
Oh,
like,
okay.
I spoke it,
Yeah.
but I couldn't like read or write too well.
Oh,
So it's,
okay.
you know, and if you ever saw those like, I don't know, if you read like a bad translation, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
It's like bad translations.
Yeah, it was like that. Like, I have to work, so I, spent a lot of time like
No.
just playing video games and like reading novels and stuff.
Just research. Just research.
Yeah, doing research. It helped me out, you know.
So you were doing it. Have you always been self-published, or did you come to Japan
I
self-published?
came to Japan self-published, and then like a publisher like picked up on it. And it's like, hey, you want to draw in a magazine? I'm like, why not?
Oh, awesome. So like, why did you choose to be like on the aero side of things then?
Well, I've always been interested in the aero side. That's
Well, how did you get into the aero side?
Yeah.
Because I feel like every like aero manga artist always like kind of their beginnings are always different.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, my beginnings were like my first doujin was Planet of the Apes.
You are fucking
Aero manga parody.
Okay.
Hold on.
Wait. What made you want to do?
Because I
Like Caesar?
Yeah, like Dr. Zaius. You know?
I want to read that now.
Oh my god.
Wait, so like, how did that idea come about? You were just like watching Planet of the Apes one day, and you're like,
I wanna see
I can
fun.
make this hotter.
I remember seeing a porno that
Right.
was like Planet of the Apes ripoff.
No.
Like back when I was like a teenager, right? And I'm like, it just stuck in my head.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, what the fuck was that? And like, it was like just eating away at me. And it's like, I have to draw this. And like, I had to just put that out.
Oh my god.
Planet of the Gapes. That's probably what it was called.
I don't know if this is an accurate question. Did it do well? Did people
Oh,
like
it
it?
did not do well.
I was going to say, I mean, it's kind of furry, but like,
It
not
was
really.
comic, and I sold like 70 copies.
I mean, I'm surprised there's an audience. If you'd asked me how many people I think would buy a Planet of the
That's
Apes
70
version,
more people than I thought it was going to be. Jesus Christ.
But I printed like 1,000 copies. Right?
Jesus.
I was gonna like print like 100, but then it's like if you're gonna print 100, it only costs like so much more to print 1,000.
So what happened to these copies? Where are they?
I started like they stuck with me for a while, and every time I go to a comic, I just like put a little bit out.
Oh, okay.
So after like 10, 12 years, like I finally got rid of all my backlog.
Genius recycling.
Now it's just like a rare item now. 'Cause
Yeah.
now I'm fucking curious.
I want that.
I want this, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That sounds incredible.
It's like a bonus item at the Comic Con now.
So how old were you when you drew this Planet of the Apes?
Oh my god, like 20 something. Early 20s. Early 20s.
No.
It's such a bizarre story.
That's the most bizarre origin story I've ever heard. Planet of the Apes. That sounds like a meme. Like, tell me how you got
doesn't sound real.
into. Tell me how you got into hentai. Oh, Planet of the Apes.
So
of
there's
course.
this movie called Planet of the Apes, right? Jesus.
So after Planet of the Apes, what came next? I asked.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, it's pretty standard. There's Dragon Quest.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
which is,
I've
like,
seen that one.
A Japanese favorite.
Very popular.
Yeah. And that's when my my first editor came to me. And, hey, this is pretty nice.
Right. Yeah, like I gotta ask, like, as an air artist, how do you choose which, aside from your original work, how do you decide to choose which works to draw porn about? I guess, like, do you go with like the algorithm to be like, okay, there's like a bunch of this is like this is
hot right
this is
now.
hot commodity
Yeah.
right now, or do you just go with whatever you're a fan of?
I think my primary motivation is like drawing stuff that I want to read. But isn't available.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
It's like if someone drew it, I wouldn't draw it all.
yeah.
It's
So,
literally the fuck it, I'll do it myself method. Yeah.
Well, I imagine the Planet of the Apes dojo wasn't
There wasn't much of a market there.
You are the market.
I'll create the market myself. Oh, that's awesome.
you found like the 70 people that wanted a Planet of the
Right,
Apes
yeah.
version when
And
it
even
came
with
out.
the Dragon Quest, like, there wasn't anything that I found like satisfying enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that for myself.
Oh, awesome. Like, how do you, I guess, how do you develop the skills to draw H manga and Ero manga specifically? Because did you have to do a lot of practice or
A lot of research.
a lot of research? Yeah.
Research, wink, wink. Like, did you go to like art school and stuff
I
like that?
did
or-
major in art in college.
Okay.
Right.
So there's that, but it doesn't really help.
Right, right.
I mean, like, you learn anatomy and like how to paint, how to like.
I mean, I'd argue anatomy is quite important
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Ero manga.
But you don't really need it.
Yeah, but I'm like,
You can make it
you don't.
up.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is like, you don't really see Ero manga in the style of like Baki, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
it's like, it's usually more so than anything, like you read the Kama Sutra and you're like, okay, I think I kind of figured out like basic anatomy and like basic like positions and stuff
I
like
think
that.
libido is more important than anatomy.
Damn, that's wise words right there. Put that.
I want to put that
Put that on a
shirt,
t-shirt.
man.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Because you see some artists and hips don't go that wide or like boobs don't go that big.
That's true. That's true.
But it doesn't matter because that's what he's into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how much do you like to stay, I guess, true to, what am I trying to say here? Like,
A human physique.
true to the human physique.
Oh, like I have my own preferences, but like I try to expand them whenever I can.
Yeah.
I'd say your style is definitely more rooted in reality than a lot of artists I've seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean there's a wide variety.
yeah.
Like, there is a very wide range about
Yeah.
how artists see the human anatomy,
Right.
especially in Dojin. Oh my god.
Like some artists, I'm just like, have you ever seen a human in your life? Like that is not what humans look like.
That's what they want, Joe.
That's what they want,
That's what
though.
they want.
That's what they want, man. That's what they want. Oh my god. Yeah, I think obviously that Metamorphosis, is one of your biggest series, but like you've had like a couple of other like long form ones as well, right? Like TSF, I think it's
TSF
called.
Monogatari.
Yeah,
is a long one.
TSF Monogatari is a big one. There's also the Dragon Ball one over of yours.
Oh, you read the Broly
The Broly one, yeah.
Broly version?
Yeah. That was
I have not read that
Broly
one.
Dojin.
yeah, Broly, yeah, he wrote a Broly
The,
dojo.
the new Broly movie.
Oh, you made a dojo.
Yeah.
I made a doujin of that.
Well, that's a step down from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that's pretty
all the furs,
mainstream.
all the furs
Yeah, all the fur's gone now.
All the furs gone now.
The personality's there, but the fur is gone, yeah.
That was his training arc to draw Dragon Ball Dojin.
Yeah, the Broly one's sick. I love the
Yeah,
Broly
it's
one.
wholesome, right?
Yeah, it's really wholesome. It's just like Broly being like, oh, there's this thing called sex, and I need some help with it.
Because he's like literally a 40-year-old virgin, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's literally like the 40-year-old version of the Dragon Ball universe.
He just fucks everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he does. Yeah,
What I expect.
because like in the dojin, he like discovers what a boner is for the first time, and he's like, "What is this? I don't know what this is. Help! I'm scared." It's like, what do I do? It hurts.
What gives him a boner initially?
I think it was the Chilai.
Chilai.
Remember Chilai? The green skin girl. I
Yeah.
think like she was masturbating and like they were like the two
then it,
guys
like,
were just
peeks
taking-
in.
I was like, what is she doing? It's like something's happening. You know?
Oh my god.
He literally had that reaction of like
Yeah.
when you discover porn for the first time. It's like, oh, what's going on? What's
going
going
on?
on
Why
in my
do I
pants?
feel
What the
so
hell?
funny?
Yeah, why?
World domination.
Yeah, what is this in my pants? Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I got to ask, what's your creative process around coming up with like the different concepts of your different works and everything like that? Do you have one, or is it just
Whatever I find hard.
sometimes an idea just comes and you just start drawing?
Well, sometimes I, see a work of art and I'm like a movie or like a novel or something that I'm reading, and I'm like, there are only more sex scenes in that.
I think that we're having different experiences watching Planet of the Apes.
I guess that's how like
so much. That's like the best thing. That's genuinely the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
like I guess that's how like metamorphosis happen, right? Like you're probably watching like Requiem for a Dream or something similar, and you were like,
This ass to ass scene is way too short.
I need more of this, please.
No one wants to see your arm getting chopped off or
Nah.
someone's mother, going insane. We want the ass to
The ass to ass, more ass to
more,
ass.
more of that. More. Which now that I think about it, it's basically just was the storyline of the main heroine, right? Of,
Yeah.
For a Dream. Holy shit! I'm just like, I've just connected that together.
How many pages was Metamorphosis in it?
250 something, I think.
Right, it's quite long, right?
Yeah.
How long would something like that take? Because I mean, like, it's obviously reading it, it's like, I can do this kind of fast.
I do like pretty long chapters, like 40, 50 page chapters. So, like,
I mean, that was released monthly, right?
yeah, it's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many months was that? Like a
It's
year?
like maybe like 6 months of storyline,
Damn.
Wow.
which
That's
is
crazy.
And like I didn't do every month. I did like one every other month,
Oh yeah, right.
right? Because each chapter takes me like a few hundred hours of work.
Jeez.
Right.
Hello, lads. It's your boy, Joey, here to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Honey. Call me a millennial, call me a zoomer, but
So like, what's like a day in the life of an era era manga?
It depends
sensei?
how much work you have. If
Right,
you're
right.
doing like a serialized manga, then you wake up, you draw, you go to sleep,
Right.
and you do that for like maybe a month.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Do you have like assistants and stuff like that?
When I did Metamorphosis, I had to assist. Like most of the tone work.
Right.
Is your office at your home, or do you have like a dedicated office where you go to draw?
It was at my home. So
Oh,
like my
okay.
living room was like desks lying on the wall. Yeah.
And you had to make room for 2 other assistants on
Right.
top of that. Oh wow.
They're just like on the floor, just like just cutting tones out. That's just like my image of like these kinds of like small like manga studios and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
the assistants are on the
Like
floor.
you've
right?
seen them before, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
How often do you like get to work on serialized work? Because I imagine you just said it takes a lot of work. So
Like whenever I want to.
whenever you
basically.
want to,
Like,
yeah.
after my first Tankobon, whatever you call it, volume,
Bakabon. Yeah.
first whatever book.
Yeah.
After my first book came out, and it sells pretty well, then people start giving you, like asking you to do work. So, and after you gain a little bit of notoriety, then don't really have any trouble finding work.
Yeah.
As long as you want to work, you can.
Oh, okay.
So that I've been lucky in that sense.
So you just go on your own schedule.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm sure you got quite a bit of notoriety as well, like after Metamorphosis, right?
Actually, like I think my first 2 like gave me like the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Ring value?
Is that including the Planet of the Apes?
No. Like my first 2 like
Oh, books.
Books.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like,
Sarashii and TSF Monogatari.
you're right.
Like my first 2 like published books.
I've always been curious because obviously Metamorphosis has been very like memed up in the Western anime community.
Right.
What's the Japanese side of things like? How's your Japanese audience reacted to your work? And
I think Japanese audience finds my work kind of like weird. Because like my stuff is a bit different than like the mainstream like hentai.
it definitely is. Yeah, in a good way. I feel.
I mean, like
Yeah.
it's more story driven, I think.
yeah,
Definitely.
So like people but I just keep trying to put like a lot of like hentai in there to
Yeah.
like make it work.
Pay attention, guys,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So I mean, like I think in the Japanese market, my most best seller is still my first one.
Right.
So I'd say. Well, that's because it's been out longer.
So the reaction from the Western and Japanese audience of Metamorphosis was like really different.
Yeah, it's night and day basically.
Wow. Okay.
That's interesting.
How do
Yeah,
you
it's
how do you
weird.
balance like the amount of story you put in a work versus the amount of sex scene you put in?
Yeah. Was I supposed to fap to Metamorphosis? Genuine
question.
Genuine. Because I was reading it and I'm like, I don't When would I?
Maybe like the first 3 chapters.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
the only point where I felt like
The karaoke scene probably was like the best optimal point.
And then
Yeah.
after that, I was like, oh, it's like I don't know how much you keep with memes, the incredible Mr. Incredible meme, where it just gets more and more sad.
More sad,
It's
yeah.
incredible becomes uncanny.
Yeah.
That one was very confusing. I'm like, is this more story or more porn? I couldn't really.
Right.
Or was it just
Yeah.
like, or do you not see it as that? It's just like it is a story that has porn in it. You can do what you want.
I think that's the most optimal way of having a story with sex in it.
Yeah.
Because like if you have like a hentai and it's like there's a story part for the first 5 pages and then like the next 20 pages is sex. What the hell was that?
That was you.
Oh, that was me. Oh, sorry. I don't know why Google thought we said Google, but
So like if there's like a story part for 5 pages and like 20 pages of sex,
Yeah.
then you could skip the story part, can't you? So
Oh,
then just read the story and read the sex and you'd be like, and you're done.
yeah.
Right.
So is it more that you can't, in Japan, you can't draw stories that have a lot of sex in them without it being labeled as like an ero manga? Like, would you say you're trying to draw more stories than trying to draw something to fap to, in a way?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think
Right.
it's sexier if there's a story.
Right.
Yes.
So it has.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Okay.
So like your biggest challenge is not putting story in your work, but it's incorporating it in a way
the,
that
the
makes
sex
it.
should be an integral part of the story, I think.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Someone who gets it. Thank you. That's why you're the legend.
So he's the goat.
Yeah, because like you read some hentai manga and there is a very like clear distinction between here's the story part and here's the sex part.
Metamorphosis didn't feel like a porn thing for me.
Yeah.
It felt like a really dark story and very adult.
Yeah.
I think that's why it drew so many people in, though, right?
Yeah.
Because like they're
Yeah.
probably going into it expecting it to be like 5 pages of story, 20 pages of sex scenes, and then you're like, hold on a second.
But I'm just wondering now because it made me think like, oh, does Japan have like if it has X amount of sex in it, would they just automatically put it in the it's porn?
Yeah.
Even if the story is very fleshed out and very.
I think there's no like clear-cut line between
right.
like porn and like a story with sex in it, because
Yeah.
you see a lot of seinen manga with a decent amount of sex in it.
Yeah.
True.
I think it depends on like just how much you're showing, right? Probably.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because like a lot of like seinen manga and like sex scenes and stuff like that, it's usually like, you know, you only see like the top half, or you know, like it's like
moaning faces.
or just like a
Things
moaning
like whited
phase.
out and-
Yeah, it's like it's like completely whited out or whatever. Whereas like, you know, a lot of dojins, it's whited out, but it's like very minimally whited out.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you have like a unconscious page count that you need to reach in terms of like, I need to show sex for this amount of pages? Because I do notice that with a lot of manga where it just feels like, okay, you have a typical manga, it's like 20 odd pages, that's like 5 pages of story and dialogue maybe, and then 15 pages of sex.
I think if you have an editor, they try to give you like a set limit of
Yeah.
how much
They're
story
like
you
they're
can
like chill. My dick can only get so hard.
put. So like, you know, if you're making a 30-page manga,
Yeah.
your editor would say at least 20 pages should be sex.
What? Wow.
So if you're working under those restrictions, it's hard to make a good story
Yeah.
because you only have 10 pages of story.
You have 10 pages of story.
Right. That's why if you incorporate the story into the sex, then you have, you know, all those pages to work with.
Yeah. And I feel like that just makes the work better in general if you find a way to incorporate it somehow.
Right.
But like, I guess it's hard because one, so few other mangakas do it. And two, I guess you really need to think about what kind of scenarios really work in terms of just, here is a scenario that is just not, you know, a baseline scenario of just like, oh, sorry, big brother, I got like stuck in like the washing machine or something, you know. You actually,
What is that? How does that work out?
yeah, exactly. Right?
Are there any tropes that you really hate seeing?
I mean, like, I don't hate anything really.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
like, it's really execution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I see. So it's
Yeah.
not so much the device, more
Right.
how it's used. That makes sense.
What are like some of your least favorite tropes you've seen in hentai manga or in your field?
Or like maybe like a trope you would never personally use.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, like walking into like a girl bathing, slipping, and then like, catching yourself by the boobies.
The classic.
The classic.
So basically every scene in Tolover.
Yeah.
The entirety of
And
Tolover.
that goes beyond just like hentai manga. That's just like manga in general.
That's just manga in general.
Right?
Yeah. It does get old very fast.
But it's a classic, though.
It's a classic, but it's like I feel there are especially some like H manga that is just like every chance they can get is like, so we have this new girl character.
Yeah.
How do we introduce her to
It's
the
gotta be a
audience?
bath scene.
They better be stinky because they're going in the bath right now. Yeah.
How much research you have to do for when you work on
Why
something
did you have
new?
to say research?
Because
like
it
that?
is research, man. It's the only guy I can talk to and ask if it's actually research. Because it is research.
Yeah, it is research.
Yeah.
Like, the more you do, the better. Because, like,
Okay.
there are, because, there's so much work out there that there's always some kind of new way of showing, like, a scene or like a new angle or a new device of, like, showing whatever.
Yeah.
That, you can always incorporate into your work. So, like, you should always read other people's stuff.
I mean, yeah, porn makes like Marvel's output look like nothing. Like, there's so much out there. It's insane.
Especially
Piece back.
especially the Dojin scene in Japan.
yeah.
It's like crazy every time. Yeah.
Why are there so many Transformer ones?
I don't know.
There's a lot of Transformer, which I don't know.
I have noticed that actually.
Every time I've gone into stores, there's like 15 Optimus Prime getting boned.
People find Transformers sexy. I don't know. I mean, I can't argue with
Bumblebee
it.
does pee on someone.
Yeah.
So I guess that's maybe fueled. Quote unquote. I guess so.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of Transformers and Sailor Moon. Like
Sailor Moon makes a lot of
yeah.
sense.
Sailor Moon makes sense.
Sailor Moon makes more
Generational.
sense. Yeah,
It's hard
but
to find people doing Sailor Moon these days, though.
I don't know. I still find a lot of like I don't know if they're new
What's like
necessarily.
the most popular ones now? Like ones to go to.
Well, there's always the people who do the newest thing.
Demon
Yeah.
Slayer.
Right.
Demon Slayer,
Fate.
is always
yeah.
popular.
Fate's always popular, yeah.
One that's
Any
one
of
that-
the idols, Idol Master.
Yeah, one that's big right now is like Blue Archive stuff.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
That one, there's a lot of that.
Can you explain to me how the Dojin like rules or laws work in Japan? Because like
Okay.
everyone knows that Japanese copyright laws are like non-existent. They don't. If
Yeah.
you literally, there's no fair use or anything like that. But it seems to be like Dojins have been like, all right, we'll let you slide. Like what's
There's an honor code, basically,
okay.
where if the original copyright holder says no dojins, you shouldn't do any dojins.
If they don't say anything, it's fair
If they
game.
don't say anything, it's fair game.
Okay.
Oh wow. So do they kind of just like turn the blind eye or something, or
Yeah, basically. I mean, like, recently, there's been Uma Musume,
yeah.
and they said no dojins. So
Oh, wow.
people
Really?
don't do it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Almost feels like you're a waste not to though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think that's like the one
Plus Uma
series.
Musume as well.
Yeah, like that's like waifus galore, right? For a lot of the fans, so you'd think there'd be like a massive market.
Well,
for that.
it's based on like real life voices.
Oh
So,
yeah.
it's kind of like
that's
you
true.
don't want. To
I guess
see
like
that.
weird politics coming to
Right.
that,
It's
right?
like
Yeah.
it's like my baby. I don't want to see my baby. Kind of like
Yeah.
Better stick to apes, right?
Yeah. Horses overrated. Apes though?
apes are where it's at.
That's the real shit right there. I can't get over that. I really want to read that.
Yeah. So like, how much of your work goes into preparing for basically Comic-Con? Because like,
Right.
and how much is it just in general trying to appeal to like, just the mass audience and putting your work online nowadays?
Well, back when there was Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Rip.
Twice a year. That's like the main bread and butter of like your dojin work.
Right.
So 2 of these, and then that was pretty much like if you're like a moderately successful dojin artist, then Comic-Con twice a year you could live off of it.
Damn.
Okay.
Wow.
So people usually do that, and then like other dojin events on the side, or like magazine work on the side.
Yeah. How hard is it to get like a booth or a table at Comic-Con? Like, what's the process of that
So
like?
Comic-Con, by the way, is like Japanese Comic-Con. It's massive.
Right.
Comic
Very-
market.
Very
Yeah,
huge.
comic market.
Very huge.
It's like what, like 300, 400,000 people or something.
That's
Yeah,
insane. It's the biggest convention, right, by far.
I think it's one of the biggest conventions in the world. Yeah. And it's all Dojin.
Yeah, it's all Dojin.
All Dojin?
It's all Dojin.
Yeah, it's not like.
Well, it's not all like hentai. It's like every
Fan
kind
works,
of dojo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Dojin just means like, you know,
Self-published
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a lot of like
I learned that from Fresh Takes as well.
yeah. So there's like entire sections of Comic Con where it's just like the non-era
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like just like novels or like music or whatever
That's so
you want.
cool, though, that can attract that many people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a convention like that in the US or the UK. I don't think it would be nearly as big.
Well, because like anime is just a lot less accessible over
True,
there.
true.
You know, like if they want the same kind of anime convention experience here in Japan, you just go to Akihabara.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot. So I can understand why there is this market for this here. But it seems like like you said, a lot of livelihoods depend on the two main Comic-Cons.
Right.
So like, how hard is it to get a booth there, or to be a part of that event?
Like, if you're established, then you get like I think you get priority seating.
Right.
Like, if you've been to Comic-Con before and you've been consistently like putting stuff out,
Yeah.
they'll look favorably on you and give you a space immediately. But if you're new, then it's like a place throw basically.
Do you have to know someone? Or?
No, I mean it really is pretty random.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gotcha.
It's got
A lot of events, like ticketed events in Japan, are just lottery, right?
it is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like completely luck,
Yeah.
which sucks because it's like, well, I was here first. Can I
Right.
have a ticket, please?
Yeah, you'd think it's like first come, first serve, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Hey, because how did you get your first booth in Comic-Cons?
I just applied.
You just applied?
Yeah.
and then he rolled the S.
And you rolled the SSR.
Rolled the SSR, dude.
So if you're like not established at all and you go to Comic-Con,
Right.
how are you getting people to come stop by the booth or check it out? Is
I
it-
mean,
or
if
is it just
people walk
luck?
by and you're like, hey, take a look at my stuff, and then that's how you have to do it.
But I think there's also like a lot of Comic-Con goers who are just there to purely consume all the new shit.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like there to like as like scouts almost to be like, you know,
How many tables are we talking? How many
Oh
salads?
my god, I have no idea.
thousands.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yes, it feels like if you haven't made a name for yourself, how on earth would you stand out if there's thousands of people?
I mean, if you've seen like a picture of Comic-Con, it's like it's like a sea of like
Yeah.
people, and you get drowned out easily. So it's just like you have to hope someone walks by and takes a look at your stuff.
It's literally like busking on the street, right? It's just like you just have to hope that you're drawing enough that you just have to hope you're drawing enough attention where someone will stop to like listen.
Well,
right?
nowadays there's Twitter and other like
Right,
SNS,
right,
and you can have an online presence before you do Comic-Con.
Yeah.
How important is that as an aero artist?
I don't know.
to have
I'm
Twitter?
pretty old school, so like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I started before Twitter.
Right,
yeah,
So
Yeah, I guess you were already established before the
Right.
social
Yeah,
media
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
But I
right?
think
Yeah.
nowadays, if you're starting, it's definitely important to have some kind of online presence.
And I feel that like just, I think especially on Twitter, like that community as well is like really supportive of other artists. Like I see like Dojin artists I follow on Twitter retweeting other Dojin artists
yeah.
Joey
all the
retweeted
time.
all of it, so Joey's
I don't retweet any of it, mind you. I only like it. It just appears on your timeline. That's all.
Yeah, I think I follow like 2 Dojin artists or something.
Yeah.
Like at the start, and then like just by following 1 or 2, my entire timeline was filled with hentai because
Because they're
always,
constantly retweeting each other's stuff, right?
Twitter must know as well when you scroll and stop for a moment. I feel like it knows because it starts.
Oh, yeah.
Keep pushing it.
It's like, you want more of this, right?
You spent more than 2 seconds on this.
Yeah. It's like he stopped scrolling for 5 seconds and didn't like. Well, we see.
But Dojin Twitter is really wholesome, though. I think people
Oh,
are really
it is,
supportive of
yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
really
I always, hear Twitter is like a cesspool, but like you don't really see it if you're doing Dojin.
Yeah,
Well, that's why half the people I follow on Twitter are just Dojin artists. Because I don't want to see that other fucking horrid cesspool of Twitter. Yeah.
It's like the Pornhub comment section, right? Which is like the most wholesome comment section you will find on the internet.
It's like, yes, King, thank you for your input. Appreciate it. W plus I can.
Everyone's got too much post-nut clarity to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind empty. Truly focused. Truly enlightened.
I can, plus I asked.
Yeah, like I guess have you ever thought about having like putting more effort into having like a more like bigger online presence and maybe like growing your audience there and getting like an audience that will, you know, support a Patreon or like a...
I have a Patreon, but I'm really bad at updating it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just too... I'm lazy, first of all. But like when I get into like drawing something, like if I start working on a project, then I'm too focused on it to do anything else.
Yeah.
So like updating a weekly thing is like, oh God, I've spent hours like doing that instead.
Yeah.
What about like stuff like do you have like a Skibu or anything like
No,
that?
not at the moment.
Have you thought?
I'd
ever
like
thought of
to, but then it's like more stuff I have to.
that? Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you want to explain what Skeb is?
Skeb is basically like it's like Fiverr where you can like commission artists to draw whatever it is you want. And like I think in like recent times, Skeb has like really gotten massive overseas, just because like a lot of like independent VTubers, you know, especially like hire Japanese artists because you know it's like I'm an anime, you know, I'm a virtual anime girl. Who am I gonna get to draw a virtual anime girl? Probably an anime artist with an anime style, right? So that's like really blown up recently. And like I know like a lot of like independent artists and like doujin artists like live purely off of Skeb commission,
totally
right?
can.
Like some artists make like bank off Skeb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm-
there's a lot of porn on Skeb. Like a lot of porn.
There is.
It's like an insane amount of porn on
There is
Skeb.
a lot of porn.
Yeah.
A lot of porn that can be commissioned by very, very talented artists.
Exactly.
Like the disparity between the work you see on Fiverr and the work you see on Skeb is like night and day.
Oh,
sometimes.
dude, not even a comparison.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy how good.
Yeah, if you want to go commission good arts,
Yeah.
good artists, go on Skeb.
And like Skeb has like a feature now where like even if you write the commission in English, it auto translates to Japanese.
Oh, it does actually.
Yeah. So like a lot of Japanese artists now, like you don't have to write in like broken Japanese, like the auto translate thing. Yeah, you don't have to be like konnichiwa, commission, please. You know, like you don't have to be like that now. So like yeah, because like I know a lot of like my English speaking friends who don't know a word of Japanese who
Yeah.
just commission a bunch of Japanese artists and they get exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really cool. They really like optimize that.
Yeah, like in like the hentai world, do you find like that there's like ever certain trends or like a meta that gets popular between like different artists? Oh, I'm so curious what the world is like. Basically.
Oh yeah, I mean like sometimes there's I can't think of a good example like like recently, not too recently, a couple of years ago, there was a meta that was going around that was like a fixed camera. And so like for a few panels, like for a few pages, it's the same angle.
Oh,
Right.
I remember
But there's like a
that.
time lapse.
Yeah. Holy shit.
It's like 11 a.m. They're in missionary,
Right.
and then it's like 2 a.m. They're in doggy, and it's the same angle.
They took a water break. Right?
Oh my god, that
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like that fight scene in Old Boy where it's just like one static camera, but then you just extrapolate that with sex, and that was just that mess. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Right?
Like I never knew that there was
But
like.
you notice it now. It's like,
Yeah, I know. Now that you said it, I noticed it. I remember.
It's
that.
like those like montages in like 80s films where it's like time lapsing. Except it's sex. Oh my god. Yeah, now that you say that, I've read so many doujins that use that
Yeah.
recently. Oh my god, I never thought about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because like I don't know, like how often do you try to like break out of the trend or like do something original, or do you sometimes read some works and you're like, damn, that's awesome. I got to incorporate it in my own work as well.
well, I don't know if I'm weird or not, but like it has to interest me. Or
Yeah.
else I'm not gonna have fun drawing it. And if I'm not gonna have fun drawing,
Yeah,
then I don't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Right?
you got to put your passion in.
You know, some people, are really professional and they just like I draw what I'm asked, But
Or
I
like
can't-
you draw what's hot, currently, right? Yeah.
But I can't really bring myself to do any of that. So like, if it doesn't really like spark interest to me, spark joy,
Yeah.
then I can't do it.
Yeah.
Spark joy. It's like if I'm not drawing it, I don't have a big smile on my face. Then it ain't it.
So like,
I respect that.
If I wanted to do like a straight up like boy meets girl
Yeah.
kind of story, then I have to put my own twist on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
What would the Shindo L twist be in an instance like that?
I remember doing one like basically straightforward story, which is just like one guy and one girl just
The
like,
vanilla
having
tag.
sex.
Yeah.
And like, I think I made the girl like a quadruple amputee.
For what purpose?
I mean, like, why not? Right? I mean,
All right, fair enough. All right,
So wait, as in like,
most vanilla we're gonna get out of you.
so like to explain, like she had no arms, no legs.
she had no arms, no legs.
Okay,
But it was
that's like. I feel like that's like as something. Did you read a lot of Wasanagi during that time?
I mean, that's not, but it was a really wholesome story, though.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just looking at Connor, and Connor's just
I
like,
shouldn't discriminate against four amputees.
Yeah.
that's the end of that sentence. Like,
That's it. That's it. I shouldn't, and I won't. They deserve sex too.
yeah, exactly.
Just imagining how you draw the panels. Was it like we only have an X amount of budget left? Get rid of the limbs.
We don't have enough time to draw the limbs. It's coming out tomorrow.
I think I'm afraid to ask, but how'd you go about researching how to draw the sex scenes for that?
Well, I knew like a paraplegic, so
Oh, okay.
I talked to that person for a bit and like asked them like, how do you know?
Is it awkward having to ask them those questions?
Okay, I didn't ask like how do you have sex?
Oh, okay.
But like,
How do you fuck?
how do you like go about doing your daily
Yeah.
Yeah,
life?
yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
do you
yeah.
find hard to do? What do you
Yeah,
find
yeah.
like? How do you cope with like not being able to do this that?
Yeah, so that's really interesting here. So you actually had to like interview your friends
Right.
just to give yourself a frame of reference to draw that.
Right.
If you didn't know someone and you
Right.
wanted to kind of ask them, how would you? Do you have any way of doing that? Like if you wanted to meet someone who is in a certain condition,
I don't know. You'd have to like go on Reddit or something.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
Any paraplegics here? Want to tell me how you fuck?
How often do you have to do this kind of research where you have to like talk to someone to see what their experience is?
I mean, it's really just for me basically. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, I figure you could do it without doing the research or without asking.
Oh, I'm sure. I've seen
interviewing
artists that
someone.
definitely do not do the research.
Yeah.
For their drawing.
But like if for me it like adds a little bit of like I could add one thing
Yeah.
that speaks to someone who's experienced it maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
And if you had that one thing, then like it makes the story a lot more interesting.
Yeah, because I remember when we did the interview, and I asked you about Metamorphosis and like how I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like the big reason why you kind of came up with like Saki's character is because like you heard of and
I
like
knew
knew
someone.
people
Right.
who had like similar experiences with it and like
I
kind
knew
of
a
lived
girl in
through
high
it.
school who like got into drugs,
Right.
but like it's not based. It's not like based on who or anything.
Right. But I'm sure it was like a lot of it was like kind of inspired or like kind of
Right.
taken from that experience, right?
But
Yeah.
like someone who's been through a lot of shit, and like, and Saki's been through like all the shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, she had like a comedically bad life,
Right.
Yeah.
but like if you take one aspect of it, it could speak to someone. Like yes, that part is I recognize that part as being real,
Right.
so that makes the story more engaging.
Have you ever had like anyone come up to you at like events or whatever and being like, I really like related to like Saki's character, or related to like this particular character that spoke through to them?
I get that a lot from Saki.
Oh yeah. Damn.
I feel bad now.
Yeah. Right.
No, I am curious
heavy.
because you said that you had to censor yourself
Right.
for Metamorphosis because you were drawing it in a magazine.
Right.
I'm curious now. Will you ever release like a director's cut? I guess
The Snyder cut.
Because
It's like 500 pages. long.
Because like I guess even if you couldn't release it in a magazine, your audience worldwide now is vast enough to be able to sell that to, because I'd willingly pay money to see a fucking director's
Yeah.
cut of whatever you had planned originally. Now
I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, Shindo should make like the happy end
Right.
for like Metamorphosis where she
The
doesn't
JoJo
die.
end,
Yeah. The JoJo end.
I think because me, when I was reading, I was like, I think the one thing that I was like, oh my god, is that it's so fast. You're not
Right.
reading it, all
Right.
in one sitting.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything is
yeah.
like boom, boom,
Right,
boom.
right.
Your life's ruined. Your life's ruined again.
Yeah.
Now your life is over.
Yeah.
All right,
There's,
okay.
there's no downtime.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's literally no break at all, and it's just like you're depressed, more depressed, and you're miserable, and you're never recovering. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'm sad now.
Maybe that's something you can do on your Patreon, right?
Maybe. I mean, like, the thing about working like in a magazine or just even doing a doujin is like you have a certain amount of pages, and then you have to have some action in there.
Right.
So like, you know, you can't like spend like 100 pages like, you know, showing someone's life.
Right.
God forbid. Oh my God, imagine not fucking in that time. I'll go bored.
Have you ever thought about just doing like, you know, a non-H manga or a non-era manga?
I mean, I've thought about it, but then like I just come back to what it can be a hentai.
It's that mentality of like
so that's-
anything can be a
That's
hentai.
like
true culture.
So every story can be improved by sex.
I mean, like, if you work it the right way,
Yes.
it's all in the
Powerful
execution.
tool.
Yes, Connor. Yes.
yeah.
But I think you forgot Planet of the Apes. This is the man that did it.
When I watched Planet of the Apes, I didn't think, man, I want to see Caesar just fucking go at it.
See, that's the challenge, right? That's
True.
that's
How
it's-
do
it's-
you make Caesar
Yeah,
go?
how
Yeah.
do you do that? You know, that's the mental stimulation, right?
Oh my God.
I admire it. I admire the determination to be like, I want to have sex in this.
I want to try and find every scenario and turn that into somehow having sex.
Right.
Yeah.
But like after like doing hentai, then like I don't know. At first I thought like maybe I'll use it as a stepping stone to do other stuff. But the more I got into it, the more like the deeper the world got,
Right.
like the hentai world.
Yeah.
And like I realized how much more I could do in hentai than once I realized that it's like you don't have to like step out of hentai. You
Yeah.
can do everything you want in hentai.
What do you want to do in the hentai world?
Oh my god,
then?
everything. Like
All.
a sci-fi epic, maybe I could do that. you know?
Sci-fi epic. That sounds incredible.
Oh man. Jin Noel looks up at the night sky and he's
Right,
like,
right.
they could be fucking up there.
Like Legends of the Galactic Heroes, except we're not fucking.
Fucking.
Oh my god.
The Galactic Heroes should have fucking.
Yeah, definitely.
It deserves to have it.
Yeah.
There's not enough fucking in space, as far as I'm
There's not,
concerned.
there's not.
Like, there's never been like a good 0G like sex scene so far in hentai.
You have to like, you probably have to research that though,
Yeah,
right? It's
definitely.
like, what kind of different stimuli would a person be able to get
Like-
while in 0Gs?
They are like contraptions that people have developed to like, strap each other together.
Right,
have sex
right,
in
right.
space.
Right.
But it's never been
Actually?
tested.
Wait,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Oh wow.
Like people have been thinking about this shit.
Of course they
And
have.
I've been like watching them think about it. Like,
It's like, yes, I agree.
yeah.
You're like, I can use this.
This is a great idea. Oh my god.
Is it hard to go? Is it like a normal thing that maybe someone will do era manga and then just go back to doing manga? Is that like common in Japan, or is it kind of?
Like there are people who do L manga, then go on to do like non-L manga.
Oh, okay.
Some people come back.
right.
Like the author
I
for
always come back.
the author for Sekirei was originally a era manga person, I think, or dojo manga, or like yeah, and Shokugeki no Soma as well.
I mean, that guy clearly wanted to do porn.
Yeah, of course.
he did. No, he did.
He did do porn.
He did do
Shokugeki no
porn.
Sona is basically porn.
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
And
And like
Nagatoro. as
Nagatoro,
well.
yeah, the author of
Yeah,
Nagatoro
yeah.
was a dojo
Oh,
artist.
yeah,
yeah.
Sensei, the person who did Ajin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, also.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, so it's actually more common than
Yeah,
I
it's
thought.
very common.
Do you get to hang out with many other era manga authors?
Yeah, I mean like you know, years ago, like before COVID.
Yeah,
I used to go out drinking a lot. Like I used to go out drinking with Asanagi Sensei,
Yeah.
and like
Fly on the wall.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
yeah.
and we just talk about like how like shit's going and like like what do you want to do next comic hit? What do you want to
Right,
do?
right.
next?
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
So you were like, hear me out.
I
Like,
imagine-
I want a fucking in space.
Yeah, I
scene.
imagine that like the workers must be quite confused over hearing your conversation. What?
You know, they're talking about like strapping themselves to each other in 0Gs and fucking.
It's a very tight knit community, the hentai community.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
how many like authors or how big is the scene?
Right, like I have no idea. Like if you take everybody into account, there's like thousands of people.
Right.
Mm.
But if you take one publisher, for example, like sometimes they'll throw a party and people get together.
Yeah.
All the authors would just, introduce themselves to each other.
Yeah.
And, like, build rapport. And after that, sometimes we'll just hang out. So like,
That's cool, yeah. Because like I've interacted with Asanagi Sensei on Twitter
Right.
before, and it's so weird. He is legitimately one of the most wholesome dudes I've ever interacted with on Twitter, and I'm
He's
like,
a really nice
the,
guy.
the dichotomy between how wholesome he acts on Twitter versus the shit he draws is just like
People
nuts.
who've done or do anything with aero stuff. Generally quite chill.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, you must have some level of clarity.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
not
Like-
lying to yourself. You're like, I like this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to do
think what makes a lot of them so cool is just the fact that it's like they have nothing to hide.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
make
yeah.
shit like this. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
yeah.
not, then I don't really care. You know,
Likes
kind of
it.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like
Nothing
open.
to hide.
They've like opened up all their chakras.
Yeah.
They're,
Yeah,
they're just
yeah,
like I don't even care anymore. Yeah.
I think hentai authors or manga are really good at like separating the fantasy and their reality.
Mm.
So like you might be into like loli, but like in your life, of course,
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It's like yeah, thank God. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be much of an industry, you know.
So, you mentioned there's thousands of doujin artists. Like, what percentage of that are able to do it for like a living?
Oh, like a fraction.
Oh yeah.
5%, 1%.
Maybe like 10, 5%. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, how do you see people like trying to stand out now, or like?
Oh my God! Like people are so much better now.
All right.
The art is so much better now than it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
This like keeps going up, and it's because skill inflation. I can't keep up with.
Skill inflation.
Skill inflation.
It is insane. You just see people drawing stuff on trains here, and even then they're like
Yeah.
10 years old, and they're drawing
Yeah.
anything better than I'll ever accumulate through my life.
Yeah.
It's
The
insane.
the posts I hate the most on Twitter is like when like a
Just for a
doujin
sketch.
artist or like an artist is like just a 1 hour sketch and it's like a fucking masterpiece of a thing. I'm like, I hate you. Your art is amazing, but I goddamn hate you. Like, I wish I could say that.
No, it's the thing I see where like the only thing that shows up my timeline is like when artists do like, oh, a quick 1 hour sketch.
Yeah.
Then they go like complete the sketch or something, and it's just like a tenth of the interactions. I'm like, what?
I know, right?
How does this work?
That's why they only post work in process like pics now because it's the only ones that
Yeah,
get
if you
any
wanna-
interaction.
If you want to be a successful artist on Twitter now, don't ever finish your work.
Yeah.
Just only post the sketches.
I know a couple of guys who are just like so much better than me, but they've never gotten like the notoriety they deserve. Like, they can't
right.
get, they can't like make a living on like just drawing, and so they have to work like second jobs, third jobs.
Yeah.
It's really depressing.
That's really sad. Like, what is the main way artists make a living, or hentai artists make a living nowadays? Is it still Comic Kit, or has there been like a big increase in like, say, online Patreon?
Oh,
or
yeah.
like, other
I mean, like,
avenues?
Online work has just blown up in the past few years.
Yeah.
So I think the mainstay now is just download, like Fanza and the old site.
Yeah.
I think is like maybe like more than half of it. Definitely.
Right. Yeah, because I've definitely seen, especially in the last few years, in the Western Twitter or Western industry, I guess, is like there's been a huge explosion of like
Patreon and stuff.
Patreons
Right.
and like especially like even animators, like hentai animators, and especially like 3D artists
Oh, yeah.
and 3D animators.
Well, people that make Overwatch porn are like the best animators in the world.
Yeah.
Like Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar wish they could animate.
Yeah, right.
Somehow they all just decided Overwatch will be.
I'm
the
like,
thing.
I didn't know you could animate 200 frames a second, but like that's right there. It's as smooth as hell. It's like,
Like, is there like a? Obviously, I've seen like Western side of it, but like on the Japanese side, is it like a? If you are like one of the top artists, is there a potential to make a lot of money from it, or is it still quite limited on what you could?
Oh man, I think if you're one of the top like artists, I think nowadays in the past few years, of course, I think having the online presence is a lot more important than it used to
of
be.
course.
So people have like 500,000 like, followers on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
And I think they can easily make as much money as they want. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why not, right?
I have no idea.
I mean, there's
Everyone wants
probably also a lot of like Dojin artists who have like found success because of their social media presence by like doing stuff that's not necessarily like Dojin stuff. Because I think Asanagi Sensei has like started like illustrating like a regular manga series or like a light novel series or whatever it was. Like
that was like illustrations for novels. And
yeah. So it's like there's like a lot of light novels I know that like where the illustrations are done by like Dojin artists.
Right.
And like a lot of people know them from stuff like that, right? Like like Pochi, for example.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Anenaru Mono was just like so massive for him.
Exactly.
But even though for her, but even though she did that, she still does Dojin shit.
Yeah. She's a VTuber now, I believe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, like that's the next step. Every Dojin artist is gonna be a VTuber.
yeah.
They always come back. They always come back to
It's
the
literally become the plot of Error Manga Sensei now, where they just live stream their work. Right?
Exactly.
I got to ask because I've been curious. Maybe you can explain it, right?
Right.
What is up with those pesky black lines that you see?
Oh my God.
Everywhere I look,
Everywhere,
all I see.
all I see is the pesky black
now
lines.
it's just like a white splotch.
or like the
Yeah.
white splotch, or sometimes if they're
Yeah,
it's
why
like,
does it keep changing?
I think it's I know it's a very complicated dance with the powers that be,
okay.
because they'll come in to a publisher especially and say too much.
Right,
Cut it back.
right. So,
And, yeah,
so you guys put as little as possible to not like anger the people who make up the rules, right?
the publishers keep trying to push the limits, but then there's always pushback.
Yeah.
And like when Tokyo Olympics were happening, like the build up to that was just more and more censorship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they got rid of porn magazines from Konbinis, right? Because of that.
They did?
Yeah. That was one of the things that the Tokyo government decided to do. They were like, we're going to have a lot of people coming into Japan, and we don't want people coming here for the first time to walk into a fucking Family Mart and be like, there's a lot of porn mags here next to like all the manga. That's
I never looked at them, but I thought they were still there. But I think it must just be like lewd stuff then.
yeah. There's a lot of like gravure stuff, right? But like the actual like porn magazines, like there was like usually there's like a curtain, separating those kinds of like stuff, right? Like in anywhere. But in Konbinis, it was just there.
Yeah.
In the open,
like a
usually
small
right,
section,
usually
yeah.
right next to the toilet.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those things where like you go to the toilet and you take a quick little peek before you go to the toilet.
They were because they were like sellotape shut.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah,
open
yeah,
them up.
yeah.
They're like
the other ones.
roped up, right?
No.
You will buy it. Yeah, so that was one of the things where they were just like, we're just gonna eradicate porn mags.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Like, you hear from different industries how kind of like they went on like a blitz before the Olympics to just try and clean things up.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
To sanitize everything.
Yeah. I mean, they like killed Airbnb. They
Yeah,
did that, and I think they did a few other things as well. I can't remember. They did quite a lot of things. They did so many things.
Put a
There's
lot of
like,
English signs up.
foreign pressure to just like clean up, like, desanitize the whole hentai industry.
It's a shame, really, because it didn't really end up happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it has happened in like because everything's more online now. Everything has to sort of conform to Western
Global
markets.
standards.
Right.
Global standards. So we can't have like there used to be a lot more bestiality, but we can't have that anymore. There used to be a lot more loli. You can't have that anymore. There used to be shota. You can't have that anymore.
Yeah. So like, is there any like so with regards to the censorship? Is there any like rules that have been like put down on paper? Like, let's say you have like a penis or a vagina. Is there like a rule to like what part
10% of the
like
penis.
like is there like a rule like of what needs to be blocked out, like 10%, 20% or whatever?
I think like it depends on like what you're talking about, because like usually like if someone's putting a book out in Comic-Ed,
Yeah.
the people who run Comic-Ed will come by in the morning, check your book out, make sure everything's censored to the standards of whatever the hentai industry is doing at the moment.
Right.
So now things have to be pretty blacked out.
Right.
But like 10 years ago, it used to be you have to have a bar like over the tip, have to have it by over like the little flange.
That's the scientific term.
Right. And you have to have a ball like somewhere on the shaft.
Right. Like anywhere on the shaft?
Like somewhere, anywhere on the
Oh,
shaft.
I've seen it just like in the most random places. I'm just
Yeah.
like, that is doing nothing.
It's like the middle of the shaft, and it's like, I know what's behind that. Yeah, I've always noticed it's always like the tip and the flange.
Right.
yeah.
But then there are some instances where it's just like, fucking like
Yeah,
like
just-
just
just
7
whatever.
lines
Yeah,
over the
yeah, yeah.
entire
Zebra,
shaft.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a zebra cock, and it's like,
So now it's more like Minecraft looking.
Yeah.
Like completely blocked out.
yeah, it's like it's like mosaiced, but it's not like fully mosaiced. If it makes sense, you,
Well,
like, you
like,
can still
I've-
make it out.
Like I've seen like a trend recently, which is like the glowy dick.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
like,
That's like
what
the lightsaber, right?
It's like you can make like a faint outline of the cock somewhere around here.
it is so weird whenever you get that scene whenever the girl takes off the trousers and it's just like a glowing dick.
Yeah.
And it's just the most surreal thing. I don't know who started this trend or how this trend started. But
Someone
yeah.
should like make a scene where like the light source is coming from that dick, so it works with the censorship. It's like,
There's no censorship here.
yeah.
My dick just glows.
Have you ever had to come up with any creative ways to come around to get past the censorship?
Well,
Anything
you
like
know,
that?
the easiest way is like, you know, just work the angles so you don't have to show as much.
Right. I feel like also like depending on like what angles you choose, it's like some are even better if you don't like just completely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Give all the
Sometimes it's
details.
just like better if you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, It's paradoxical, but like sometimes like you don't.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is
Yeah.
more. Like not seeing the faces sometimes sexier than seeing the face.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Like, how do you, I guess, how do you direct your own sex scenes? You know, like, how do you know what looks hot, or is it just kind of like you look at other references and you're like, that looks kind of good, or that?
There's a tempo to it. Like you know, you can't have like money shot, because like you know, it just blends all together.
Yeah.
So you need like you know like downtime, money shot. You know, stuff like
Right.
that.
Although I've read a lot of dojins where it's just like 7-page mood of money shots. You know? it's like, bruh, like, how is this man's balls not exploded at this point? It's like, that's a lot.
So you mentioned obviously censoring from the government, but is it ever hard when you're trying to, you know, dealing with almost self-censorship? Like you're ever like, is this too much? I don't know.
Well, you know, personally, I try to like push boundaries.
Right.
Like whatever makes me feel uncomfortable. Like sometimes I try to delve into that, just to like
Right.
you know get a feeling for
Yeah.
myself, basically.
Yeah. Do you feel like that uncomfortable feeling enhances your story? Is that what you would say?
I think it
kinda
makes it
like-
more interesting. At
Yeah.
least.
But you're not doing it like purely for like shock factor. or
It's not
anything,
shock factor. It's just like to catch my own interest, and like
Right.
it's not for any like deeper meaning, really. But like, I mean, I think it makes the work more like unique and
Spicy.
just a little spicy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you said that what I guess overseas norms affect how Japanese censors, because
Right.
normally people are under the impression that Japan doesn't give a fuck what the outside world thinks.
I mean, the standard anime industry definitely is the
Yeah.
case, right?
That's strange if the anime industry doesn't care. But then I guess to hear that the aero stuff kind of maybe is more affected by what other countries think and what
I think maybe it's because like the dojin industry actually cares for the like international community. Maybe.
even like the normal anime stuff, like they're remaking Urusei Yatsura, right?
Yeah.
And like one of the first scenes is like a booby shot.
Yeah.
Of Rama.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know, are we gonna conform to like global standards, or are we just gonna go with the 80s? You know,
Right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
complete remake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like when you make your work, do you have to keep this into account, or is
I
it?
try not to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's fantasy, right? So like,
Yeah.
like, oh.
it's got to be annoying to talk about. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like,
You're like,
it's like, oh, this conversation. I've had this one like before more than once.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about like making something and like make it like, because you know it's not socially acceptable.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I think when it's art, right, it has to be done tastefully or appropriately, right?
Yeah.
For it to be like, okay, you need to have stories about stuff like this because it happens,
Like,
whether
I
it-
don't necessarily personally agree with it, but
Yeah,
I'm okay with it
Because
existing.
obviously, as an
personally,
artist and an author, your characters aren't you. Right?
yeah,
They're there to represent something and
Right.
to push a storyline. And just because you write about a story, I think anyone, I don't really agree with people like, you can't write about X topics. It's like, no. I mean, if this stuff happens in real life, it happens in real life.
Yeah.
Why shy away from it? Horrible stuff happens all the time. You should be able to write a story about it. Obviously, there are some people who do it not tastefully at all.
Yeah.
Well, the argument I hear a lot is that it normalizes the act. Right?
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
No, I disagree.
I disagree too, but I hear it a lot.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I was wondering if you have a favorite fruit.
I like strawberries. Oranges for me. Why are you asking this all of a sudden?
Well, boys, because this episode of Trash Day is sponsored by Boxer.
Boxer?
I know a lot of you have already signed up to the show.
So, legitimate question.
Okay.
Dick girls.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because it's a thing in Dojins.
yes.
There's a lot of it.
There's a thing.
Yes.
And you have a series TSF that has dick girls in it, right?
Yes.
I've always been curious, how do Dojin artists get into that?
Like, are you not into it?
I'm like half
Right.
into it. I'm not like crazy about it.
What's the name of the tag again?
Dick girl
Was it Dick
What?
Girl?
or futa.
Yeah.
Oh, Futa, right? Futa.
Yeah, futa.
Oh, yeah.
Futanari.
Yeah, like futanari, right? Because it's when you think of like stereotypical like Dojin tags, right? Like futa is usually the first one people think of, right? Because I feel it's very much like
I
a
think there was a poll that Faku did, right? Of like
Yeah.
the most popular search tags
per state.
per state.
Yeah.
And, like, Futa was like all over the
Yeah,
US.
I think it was like, I think I remember seeing that. It was like out of like the 50 states, I think it was like 41 states. The most viewed tag was futa. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. It's just this really interesting thing that like I think it's just so synonymous with the Dojin world, especially.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of people are so like, again, it's like another one of those things like Loli and Shota where it's like a very clear divide, right? And yet it's like weirdly embraced
Yes.
for some reason, right? So it's like, but like you're not like personally into it, right?
No, personally, I'm not like it doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
But I understand like intellectually how it works, like
Right.
like, why it's
Someone
appealing.
describe it intellectually.
Intellectually.
I appreciate it.
So I try to put it into the work because like I want to explore that aspect of.
So what made you want to explore that side of things?
Well, like I've never done it before. I'm like, let's give it a try. And like, the more I try work it, then the more I understand why it works.
Yeah.
So is like your mission, I guess, is to like go through every single tag to be like, I'm gonna try and explore every single one of these
Yeah, I
tags.
mean, like, that's a good goal, I think.
That'd be cool. What's like the
Yeah,
what's
putting your own twist on like every tag.
Yeah.
That's a really good goal.
is there like a tag you've seen where you're just like, whoa, what is that?
I'll tell you when I find it.
eye penetration?
I've done it.
What's the appeal of that?
Like, it's
Breaking the laws of physics?
like there's penetration.
Breaking the taboo of the law of physics.
Like there's eye penetration, there's ear penetration, there's like belly button penetration, and it all links to like
Yeah, that made my like stomach like
yeah.
quiver.
it's basically all like what you call ryona, which is like torture basically.
Right.
What?
A torture porn.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. That's like a really common tag. Do you know?
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of
I don't know
it.
any of this. This is completely all new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't read.
You innocent
those.
child.
I don't read anything.
It is a vast world out
Yeah.
there.
I'm just thinking, like, how would you even? How would you do this physically? I don't
Like
even
the
wanna-
orbital socket is like this deep, so you can find like maybe a way to do it.
I mean, it's, I think the
Yeah.
point is you can't do it physically.
Oh,
So
so that's the appeal of it.
That's the appeal.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to see it in real life. I don't want to try it in real
Maybe
life.
if it was
Yeah.
like Mrs. Incredible, maybe you could.
I mean, that's one way to do it, right?
Well, you've just discovered a situation in order to like achieve that.
I don't know how much Incredibles porn you think there is out there.
I think there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I mean, made of rubber to make that work. Realistically.
Yeah, it's like that's like the one thing I've always wanted to ask like a doujin artist is like when you find those kinds of like, you know, non-vanilla tags and stuff like that, what is it about like those non-vanilla tags that makes you want to like draw about it or like, you know, write about it or, you know, like kind of
Well, the
try it
easiest
out,
way to
right?
get into it, if someone who is really talented do it before, and it's like you don't fall in love with the act or the tag itself, but you fall in love with the artwork.
Right.
So like, I don't know if you know who Gujira Sensei is.
I know the name.
He does like a manga that's about reptiles.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen like
he
pictures of
does
it on
like
Twitter, yeah.
he does femboys on his free time.
Right.
And like I've never been into femboys, right? But like just reading his stuff, it's like, oh, what's so good? Like this femboy's hot.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my exact experience with Asanagi. Because like a lot of like his topics in his doujins, I'm not crazy about, to be honest. Like a lot of it's just like, whoa, okay. But the art is just so good
Right.
Yeah.
that like I can't stop reading it. It's like I just look at it as like, damn, he can fucking draw people and situations like action scenes like really fucking well.
Yeah.
And like I think I just appreciate him on that aspect. And I think it's like I appreciate a lot of doujin artists just for that aspect, just to the fact that like a lot of them are just like really fucking talented artists.
Right.
And it's like, if I could draw like that, I would absolutely fucking draw that shit. You know, it's like, why wouldn't you? It's just cool. I don't know. I say this because I can't draw for shit.
Good draw porn? Is that what you're saying?
Huh? I mean, look,
I'm just trying.
if I had the talent to draw porn,
Okay.
why would you not?
I mean, especially what they were doing, that's, you know, in the churches, that's what they had.
Right?
A lot of the time.
It's like, if I had the talent to be able to draw like a really hot sex scene, I would absolutely draw my own sex scene.
Yeah.
Because that's just like a power. It's like, I don't even have to look for porn anymore. I'll just fucking make it.
I'll make it
I
myself.
will make the porn myself.
Thanos, like, I'll fine.
I'll do it myself. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like that's why you do it,
Yeah,
right?
that's why I do it.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, you look around and you're like, nothing there that like just clicks for me.
Yeah.
So I'll just do exactly what I want to see and, you know, what I think is cool, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, if I had the ability to do that, I'd fucking do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
So, like, what are some of your favorite tags out of curiosity?
I think some of my most well-known favorite tags are like pregnant one,
Right.
sometimes birth, sometimes like
What is birth?
birthing,
Like birthing a
like
baby.
birthing a baby.
Was that just in the show? In the
Just
thing?
in the thing. Like,
Well, I mean, Metamorphosis had one, right?
well,
Did it?
Kinda.
No, not really.
Not really, but
It
kinda.
wasn't like a baby.
I'm also, I don't know much, so this
But
is,
if you read Shindo L no Bunka Jinrigaku or Shindo
Yeah.
L's I think cultural anthropology,
oh.
there's one chapter is all just birthing.
Oh.
Because I wanted
So
to.
just giving birth.
Just giving birth.
Okay. I'm trying to process this. I'm trying to.
I can hear, like, the cogs just like, okay.
I was just looking at Connor when he said okay, and just the eyes darting like around, like, okay.
I want to ask questions, but I'm scared to know the answer to something.
Just ask. You won't have an opportunity.
So,
Just ask.
Just ask.
so
Yeah.
the pregnant thing I can understand. I can understand that could be attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
But what about the birth aspect is attractive?
Well, why not go a step further when you go? If you're into the pregnancy already, then why not go a step further?
This is watching. That's the attractive part?
Well, you know, just well,
Okay. I was making sure I understand now.
I mean, like, you can be like, I mean, you could like theoretically do anal while you're doing it, but like, you know, doesn't have to.
I guess you could, yeah.
That is indeed a fact.
The laws of physics allow it.
Yeah.
No rubber required.
I feel a pattern, which is just like, well, you theoretically could do
Yeah.
this. So
I think what I'm learning is that it's asking the questions that men never asked, and then
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
let's fuck it, let's do
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just do
Let's
it.
give it a go.
I admire the exploration.
yeah.
Okay, carry on. What other tags?
Ishukan, which is cross species.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, usually mixed in with pregnancy and birthing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Gotta like just like
Why not? Why not, dude? How many sauces can you put on the hot dog, dude? Like,
it's like a chef, right? Just like the ingredients.
okay.
And well, you know, the normal stuff like, you know, gangbang, whatever, you know.
So
Yeah.
it's like vanilla. Can you just not do vanilla anymore?
I could do vanilla, sure, why not?
Go back to the classics, eh?
Like the Broly one was vanilla.
Was
Does
it?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I wouldn't.
There's two people and they're just making the thing.
I mean,
There's
Does vanilla like not excite
no,
you to a crate
no,
works?
no. There is no. It's not vanilla because there was a birth scene.
what?
There was.
How is birth not vanilla though?
This man's like living on a different like level of reality. He's like,
I think your version of vanilla and mine is like so far gone. Like I'm like missionary, go to bed at 9 p.m., watch a TV show. You know, that's vanilla.
But like the natural outcome of
Okay,
that.
I see. So,
No,
so
no, I
nothing quote unquote unnatural, right?
Right.
It's just a standard human experience. Okay, that makes sense.
no, but I get that. But it's just the fact that you're like, what's not vanilla about birth? It's just like, it's like third eye open. It's like, oh my god, you're right. This man's like another plane of reality.
Like a brain expansion meme where it's just like couples getting together, vanilla. No.
So it's like an attractive thing to see just a baby born.
I mean, like because there's the mother has to go through all these stages, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the attractive part.
That's
watching
attractive,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I understand. I think.
I feel like you need to like read some
Yeah,
of
I
it
think I need
to like
to
figure
do
it
some
out.
research
Yeah.
before this. What are the tags? I'm interested. Cross species, okay.
Cross species.
That one makes sense to me. That seems hot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Ishizuka
be
Reviewers
honest,
was fucking massive,
If
right?
the
Because of that.
aliens are hot, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, technically, like the Broly one was also
Broly was
bad,
also
right?
bad.
Yeah, that's
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, normally we're talking about like non-human.
Right.
What else? Well, you know, the normal stuff like transgender.
Yeah.
Right. One that I've been doing a lot. What else have I done? Well, you know, I do Leona too, the torture stuff.
Right.
Some once in a while. I recently did a collaboration with Asanagi Sensei, and he did his compilation of like various artists doing like girls who've had their organs cut off.
Right. Yeah.
I feel sorry for the FBI agent watching your search history. I gotta say, the guy's probably seen some stuff.
It's like he's like reaching for his third notebook. He's like, all right, yeah, write that one down too. Fuck. I have to go through all this shit later. Yeah.
I haven't done too much scat,
Right.
except like vomiting. Vomiting, I do a lot.
Why?
I mean, like,
I'm genuinely curious. Genuinely,
I don't know. It's like, it's
I'm not trying to be like derogatory.
one of
or
the moments where you feel like at your lowest when you're throwing up.
Okay, so so there's kind of an attraction to seeing people at a very low point,
At
or
a very
struggling,
vulnerable
or-
point
okay,
on
Yeah.
the
Okay.
I mean, yeah, so I guess on the same level in terms of vulnerability, it's similar to like metamorphosis, right? Very
Yeah.
vulnerable, just in different ways.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the same emotion, I guess, just in a different kind of scenario.
I just love that. Just if you just took that conversation out of context, it's like I do vomiting quite a bit, and you just going, why? That must be so weird out of context, you know.
I'm trying to understand.
This one episode has been like a gold mine of just like
Out of context clips, yeah.
out of context clip.
You know, because I like to think that the podcast is something where even if we disagree, like I said earlier, it's something where we can come to understand and kind of
Right.
talk and share. Even if I completely be like, that is fucked up, I
Yeah.
don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
I still think that you should be able to tell me about it.
Yeah.
And talk to me and be like, here's what it is. And I'll be like, oh God. Go ahead, King. Go on.
I just want you to keep going purely just to see Connor's reactions.
This entire podcast has just been golden.
It's just
like every so often you'll say something and Connor's just like,
what?
Every time you say something that I know is fucked, I immediately look at Connor
I
like,
know there's a lot of people who, you know, would kill to be in this chair and talk to you about this. So I don't want to squander that opportunity. I'd be like, no, I don't want to know anything about it. I want to learn about it so
Yeah,
that
they can like live vicariously. through
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And if you don't know anything, maybe you can live through my reaction to this episode.
I'm I'm living vicariously through Connor right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, at least I know Connor's gonna have a more fucked up like reaction than me right now.
you know, I'm
I
sitting
love-
on this side of the table, and I'm like, sometimes I feel like I should be over there.
I love hentai, right? Hentai's great. You know, me and Samuel Jackson have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And,
Both cultures.
I'm living that clip. I'm going to the grave with that. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't like hentai? Well, Samuel Jackson likes hentai. You know, and it almost feels like hentai is so goddamn vanilla from what's going on in the doujinshi world. Like,
it is.
like I'm watching it. I watch a lot of the hentai, and I feel like, what is happening over there? Like, I feel like I'm like we're in like the villa, and you guys are like fighting down on the streets. Like, I'm like, what's going on down there? Like,
One thing I can definitely say after talking to you is that I think I have vanilla taste.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say that.
I used to say like vanilla, that's lame as fuck, but now I think I'm vanilla.
your colleagues presumably don't all draw or cover the same stuff as you. Are they ever like, bro, chill? Like,
Oh no.
Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill. You're doing what now?
No. It's always.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's always fun to see what other people are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing that? Cool. You know, it's like,
Yeah. Can I imagine be like, yes, King, you
Yeah.
fucking
Yes.
you fucking buffed that kid. Yes.
Penetrate that eye. Yes.
I think when they made me read doujins, they picked ones that were kind of normal, I think, actually, after hearing this.
Yeah, they were.
This is probably the one most left field for me.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next doujin episode. We're going to ask you to recommend us some doujins.
Yeah.
And we'll read it and talk about it.
Actually, that would be pretty fun.
That'll be pretty fucking awesome.
I'm going to hate my life.
well, if you're going through my category, then I suggest doing Shindo L's Kochiwa Anthropology.
Okay.
Because I had the most fun writing that one.
Okay.
And so that's you just explaining all the genres, I guess? Or
It's like me playing around with a lot of genres.
okay. It's like short stories, like short.
Oh no, it's one continuous, like it's episodic.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, okay.
So like a set amount of set characters doing like different things every chapter.
Okay.
See, a lot of these stuff are really confusing for me because I'm like, am I supposed to jack off? I don't know when.
Maybe you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be? I genuinely, I don't
No,
know.
I think it's just a matter of like if you think the time is right.
Yeah, is that
You know.
how you write it? You're like, if you want to just read this and experience it, do it, or are you writing it for like, all right, you can go do it.
I mean, like some things I've been thinking about for a while, and like I kind of let it percolate,
Yeah,
and then like I put it on paper. But other things, it's on a whim.
yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
I think like I don't jack off to every doujin I read. You know, sometimes I just like reading it because I like reading it.
I just watch porn, watch it.
Yeah.
Storylines.
No, but that's the weird thing.
Sometimes
But,
it's an obligation.
Yeah.
but that's the weird thing, right? I'm not like that with like porn or hentai. So like, what is it? I don't know. There's something about doujins where it's like it can literally just be like a pick up and read thing sometimes.
Yeah, I see people on the train just
Right.
swiping through doujins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is a strong world, man.
But I
This is
just
rush
find
hour.
that really fascinating that like doujins can do that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, even though you look at the contents of it and you're like, yeah, I can definitely see someone like jacking off to that. The fact that you can just sometimes be like, yeah, you know what? I want to read it, but I don't really want to jack off to it. I just kind of want to read it.
I want to read the Planet of the Apes ones.
Yeah.
Not to jack off. I'm just fascinated.
Just curious, right?
curious,
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's, do you know why? It's just going to be so simple. I think it's because doujins aren't a hands-free experience. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you choose to jack off to a doujin, it is effort because you are holding something.
Yeah,
right?
that's
whether,
true.
Whether it's like
You're, like,
phone
juggling a
or,
lot of
like-
things,
You're
yeah.
juggling like hentai. You can put that on the TV.
Or at
on
least
the
now
TV.
you can put it on the screen. Back in the day, you had to like find a way to put that
Hold the book.
Yeah,
the book out.
But like even if you put it on the screen, you got to like turn the page or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not a complete hands-free experience.
Next page.
I've always been curious, like, can you view like porn in the same way, or do you just view it now as completely, just research or something that you can incorporate into your own work?
Oh no, I could still,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's when you know it's good, right? It's like, oh,
You're like, finally, some good fucking food.
Is it more? Do you more prefer to read or watch?
I'd rather read.
Oh,
That's
okay.
interesting. For me,
Yeah.
it's like the complete. I
Yeah.
do not
Like
wanna
I'm a
read it.
manga person rather than an anime person.
Right.
So it's more about like visualizing it and
Like,
kind of.
like it always
letting it
works
brew.
better in my mind when I'm reading it.
I guess that
Yeah.
it's like I'll do it
It's
myself.
like reading a novel instead of
Yeah.
watching a movie.
Yeah, because you can like
Yeah.
fill in the blanks in your own way, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like you can make it a lot more like sexy or like more for your taste than perhaps the author intended. You know? Whereas with like hentai, it's like you get the full package and you can't really change that. You know?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Guess is there anything else you guys want to ask about hentai specifically? 'Cause, I think we need a kind of chill down section.
Let's do a chill section.
What up? It's your boy, Joey, here to let you know that this episode of Trash Taste is sponsored by Tipsy Sake. To the show.
Yeah, so like you were talking about Elden Ring earlier.
Oh,
and
yes.
being a massive Souls fan. So yeah, like what are some games or some anime or something? What, Joey? What?
I just love how it took us 2 hours to get to
I
this
just want
topic.
a normal conversation just to like chill out for a bit. It's been like a intense 2-hour conversation about porn so far. So I want to chill out for a bit.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, what are some like games and anime that you like outside,
looking forward to, or
just like in general? Yeah. What are some of your other interests?
everything. I like RPGs in general.
Yeah.
I like strategy games, like if you played Valkyria Chronicles.
Oh,
Yes,
I
yes.
love that series.
Yes. I'm just getting into Valkyria Chronicles
you?
right now. Yeah.
It's a great series.
Yeah.
I mean, you're obviously into like Dragon Quest and
Dragon
stuff
Quest,
like
I
that,
love
right?
Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
There's a new Dragon Quest 3 remake coming.
Oh
really
yeah.
hyped about.
Yeah, I want to play that as well.
What else is coming out? Oh, there's a Made in Abyss action RPG coming out.
Is there actually?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Action RPG
a
made in
action
Abyss?
RPG. And it's rated Z for like adults only.
I want to play that
And I'm
now.
like, I'm just curious, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, that's
But I'm always scared of like anime games because they haven't had the best track
I mean, like,
record.
it's
You know?
probably gonna be like shit to play, but like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm interested.
Yeah, sure.
Like, what can they possibly do?
So you like Made in Abyss?
I do love it.
You know what? Now that you say it, it makes so
Perfect
much sense, right? because I'm just like, damn, that definitely explores some topics that I don't normally get to see.
Right.
I mean, Made in the Abyss has like some Diorna in it, right? Like, there's a lot of torture scenes in there. Where I was just like, oh god.
that definitely makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
It's like,
that makes
Jesus.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, what are like some like standard manga that you would like recommend or like you really like?
Well, you know, now Spy Family is big,
Of course.
and
yeah.
I'm more of a manga Spy Family guy. What else is new?
that was so it's just like the most wholesome thing. that did surprise me.
I don't know why there's a part of me that's like Spy Family 2 vanilla.
I was expecting to be like, yeah, so Berserk, you know.
Or Yasumi Pun Pun, you know?
Yasumi
It's like,
Pun, love that shit.
just like suffer porn, you know? Like, oh, wow. It's just hilarious to like imagine you reading Spy Family and being like, hell yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah.
So like, what's kind of like some of your favorites of all time then?
Oh, my favorites of all time.
Like anime, manga, or video games?
Anything drawn by Obata Takeshi is amazing, of course.
Of course.
Anything drawn by Murata Yusuke is amazing, of course.
The godly arts,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
The
We're
godly
all
arts.
fanboys of Murata Yusuke.
Yeah. Like his recent work with like One Punch Man, especially,
it's
is just
amazing.
Yeah.
fucking incredible. And obviously, Eye Shield as well.
I don't know how that man keeps improving.
Yeah, I
like
know.
it's like I thought he peaked at iShield 21,
Yeah.
and then One Punch Man was like, I could do better. Crazy. Yeah. Well, what's Takeshi as well? Like, that's definitely like another one where I can definitely see like it kind of like makes sense because like he also has like a really like, you know, darkish style and like, you know, especially in like some scenes in Death Note, like back in the day, it was like, whoa, that's this is it. This is in Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit.
Yeah,
you know.
right. Like I definitely remember reading Death Note the first time, and I didn't even know it was Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
You know, like I knew at that time what kind of manga was kind of in Shonen Jump. You know, you had like you know Dragon Balls, your Yu Hakushos, you know, all that kind of thing, and then you go to Death Note, and you're like, this comes from the same magazine.
Yeah, it looks like a seinen, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like a seinen manga.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I remember like,
Walls of text, right?
yeah, like a novel half the
I just
time.
can't imagine reading it and not having like the fucking elves theme playing all the time.
Well, that's how people experience it before the anime.
I know, but like now I can't think about Death Note without having that song in my head.
I know. Yeah.
It's so iconic. Holy shit, the anime is so good.
Yeah, because like I remember when I first saw that being adapted, because that was one of the few mangas I read before watching the anime, and I was just like, "There's no way this is gonna work in anime form." There is like too much dialogue. There's people are
Too
just gonna get bored.
stylized. Yeah.
Just eating potato chips. How
Yeah,
can you do that, right?
exactly. So it like blew my mind that the anime was just that engrossing, where I just thought there was no way you'd be able to translate all of this text going on into an interesting anime form. But they did it. Fucking
Whoever directed that was like 5-head, dude. Like they clearly knew how to like take text-based and just like very still visuals and make it visually exciting. Yeah.
yeah.
You also mentioned you put many hours into Elden Ring.
Yeah, almost 200. I think.
Jesus Christ.
I know
I
you've
mean,
been playing.
I got like 70 hours in it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Boys haven't played it yet for some reason. I don't know why.
No, it's because I'm trying to find time to do it. Because I know I've played enough like fucking From Software games where I'm like, I know I'm gonna love this game.
Yeah.
But I also have commitments as well.
Yeah, I need to like block out a week from my schedule.
At least.
There's just something. There's something so amazing about when that health bar pops up on the screen on the bottom. I don't know what it is that gets me so excited every time. Like every single time.
Yeah, of course.
It's so
Hyped
fun.
up.
It's so high.
Let's go.
What a game, dude. What a
Yeah.
game.
What about some video games aside from Elden Ring? I mean, I suppose you've been playing Elden Ring a lot
From
recently.
Games, of course.
Yeah.
Always great.
Never played FPS games or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I played Apex like when it first came out.
Really? Okay. Me too. I love
Yeah.
Apex.
I played
this.
I think last Battlefield I think was 3 though.
Battlefield 3. I mean, it's been buggy mess ever since.
Afterwards,
3 was kind of
3 was like borderline, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I could accept it.
Bad Company.
Yeah.
Bad Company 2 was really good. That was a good Battlefield game. God, okay, so you're a gamer. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
He is a
Confirmed.
gamer.
He's a gamer.
Yeah, how much time do you have to like pursue like your other hobbies outside of your work? Because you hear some horror stories about manga artists just like having
I mean,
zero
like,
time.
if you're working, like if you're doing a monthly or weekly, then you have no time.
But I guess you do like bi-monthly, right?
I do bi-monthly, but now I'm just like taking long hiatuses, just to like, cause I bought a house. I'm like fixing it up, gardening and doing other retiree things.
Right.
But you know, I'll spend more time drawing.
Spend more time drawing eye penetration and stuff.
Exploring the darkest depths of the human psyche.
Need to get my priorities straight, you know?
That's what it all comes back to, baby. All comes back to that.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever get inspiration from works outside, just from like normal manga that you like find elements that you can incorporate into like your work?
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at like a sex scene, it's basically an action scene. So if you read like battle manga, there's a lot of like angles and like movements.
I agree.
Okay,
Because I can never tell what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
In both. In both, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, so okay. Can you expand? like whoa.
No,
Okay.
I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I get it.
You're basically depicting movement.
Right.
So like, how do you get that across like, on a still image, right?
Oh, okay.
So like, you do like in and out.
Yeah.
That's like one way to do it. And
Right.
but if you read battle manga, you can do like you could incorporate in and out in one picture.
Teleports
Right,
behind you.
Okay.
And it's just
I'll go.
so. It's, what about like the pacing and tempo of a battle? Like, does that play into factor? I've never
What a good
never
discussion.
thought.
Yeah,
of
never
it
thought
like
of it
this
like
before.
that, yeah.
Like, this is so fucking interesting.
I'm glad
to
you
me.
said that because I actually always thought that. Like,
Really?
Yeah. I just thought that sex scenes were just battle scenes.
You just think that because Baki said so.
Maybe.
Baki was right, apparently.
I'd argue the greatest fight scene in Baki is the sex scene.
But the tension of a fight feels the same as the tension of a sex scene.
That's true in a lot of ways. Yeah, the tension in a good fight scene and the tension in a good sex scene is like for none.
all you're
Yeah,
putting on it.
it's exactly the same.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess I'm so curious to like hear what does that break down into? Are you talking about like just movement or just like the tempo or the pacing?
Handling and
as well?
movement, like let's say having a sex scene, right?
Right.
And you'll notice there's like a large panel,
Yeah.
something happening, and there'll be a small panel of like some guy flipping his wrist.
Right.
And then in the next scene, you'll see how he's using that as his hand
Yeah,
in a different way.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the battle manga, you know,
Right.
one guy's fighting, but then he does a small movement, and you'll see the small panel
Yeah.
where they show that, and then that gets incorporated into the next scene. It's the same way.
Okay. That's so interesting. So
Like it's like kind of creating like a flow,
Right,
right,
yeah.
of movement.
So
yeah.
do you like when you're drawing this? Do you have like a kind of like a rough storyboard in your mind about how the paneling is going to be?
You like sketch it out
I sketch it out beforehand.
Right.
But you know, there are different. You know, you have different templates in your mind,
Yeah.
and like you go by those templates, and then once in a while you want to change it up
Yeah.
to make it interesting.
Right.
So I think the more experience you have, the more templates you have in your mind,
Right.
so it doesn't become like monotonous.
Okay. That's so because I've never thought of it like that. But now that you've said it out loud, it makes so much sense.
Everyone saw the moment where it just like clicked in God's mind. He's like,
you know, like you can see the light bulb just like, oh.
Dude, Grant's gonna be watching like Demon Slayer getting bricked up.
it's like, damn that flow of movement though. Oh,
So you're telling me if you football animate sex scenes, it's just going to be the greatest work of all time.
It's the greatest fight. Yeah.
Back in the 90s, you had like top animators doing hentai.
Yeah, I know.
Not so much these days, but like, you know, back in the day, it was like
we
you have big names.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have Queen Bee nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do know that like hentai back in the day had some like in terms of like animation studio and animators working on it, it was like some big names.
Yeah. Sakuga.
Yeah. You
the soccer guy.
you laugh, but like that was a thing back.
It's just funny hearing say. I'm a child.
Dude, the Sakuga 90s hentai is like insane.
Yeah, it is.
It's
insane.
crazy,
It is
yeah.
insane. And now it's like very much, you know, the same kind of glossy look,
Right.
the same kind of template. There's less.
Now we're back to drawing like a frame and then just moving it on camera like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all like that, but there's definitely less like experimentation.
Right. But now you have amateurs who are doing amazing animation work just on their own.
Yeah.
Like the one in the Italian Senate.
Yeah.
The Tifa one.
The Tifa one.
Yeah.
Right?
Very impressive.
Yeah, like I said, some of the most impressive hentai work
So I
I've
think
seen.
we're going like full circle where you have a lot of talent working in like just doing sex scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
And
so-
you know, hopefully it'll keep going that way.
Yeah, because like some of the most talented artists and talented animators I've seen in the porn world has been independent, you know? And I'm just like, damn, what if I saw like, because normally you only get to see like a minute or two of animation, which is of course as much as you're going to be able to see from one person. Right. I'm just like, man, what if he had like an actual 30-minute episode that like actually looks like this? That would be like insane. You
Give
know?
that man some money.
Yeah, right.
Give this man a studio right now. Give him a production. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have anything more to ask. Do you
Me
guys?
neither, man. I think I've been.
I'm full. I'm full.
I am.
But there was so much good food here.
I am like enlightened. I am
Yeah.
just fulfilled right now.
Yeah.
Oh, one last question.
Okay.
Is hentai art?
Okay. I thought we knew this. Oh,
Now no one can argue on Twitter. Confirmed right here.
Yeah.
what are they? Where can they find you? And also, what should they be looking out for?
You can find me on Twitter. You can go to thehoots.com. I have a website there. And my next project, aside from artwork I do for a mobile game called Time Running RPG. I'll also be, I'm still working on a project for Comic Unreal, which is going to be a fantasy epic, maybe.
Oh wow.
Hopefully.
Damn. Hell yeah. Yeah, well, the links to all those are in the description below, as always.
And you said you had a Patreon as well.
And I have a
Yeah,
Patreon.
and the Patreon, yeah. Support him on Patreon.
Yeah. What's the URL for that Patreon or username? I guess.
Shindo L, I think.
Is it just in
Patreon.com/Noel. Yeah, so links in the description. Hey, speaking of Patreon, look at our patrons.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at all of them.
Look at all of them on screen right now. Amazing.
Look at all these cultured individuals right now.
But yeah, if you would like to support the show and also watch the uncensored version of this episode, because God knows we're going to get monetized for this
now.
one.
We got this far.
Yeah. I mean, either way, if you like to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And of course, go check out Shindo Sensei stuff. Links in the description. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
The enlightenment was unreal this episode. We are going to leave this office different men after this episode.
I do feel enlightened. All the same way. No. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And thank you guys.
Incredible episode.
And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
See you guys next time. Bye.
You know what I got in here, guys, that you don't have?
A standing desk.
I got a standing desk.
Yeah.
We are currently at the production offices of some show nobody's ever heard of, called Mythic Quest.
Nice, man.
Yeah, beautiful.
A different Mythic Quest production office.
Yeah, this is but what people don't realize is how shitty television studios actually are.
Rob, what is this contraption you have in your office?
Well, I did not have this installed. Clearly, this was installed sometime in the mid 70s, based on the
we don't styling,
based on the technology.
The wood styling.
We don't make things that are that size that only have one button on them anymore. We just don't do it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
It's a waste of space.
You want to see what happens?
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let's describe for the listener what we're looking at here. We're looking at like a rectangular box, right? A wooden box with a black button in the center, and that's it, attached to some sort of
and
wire.
a cord coming off.
Very long cord. And doesn't this cord sort of remind you of an electrical cord from your childhood?
Yes, yeah, old school cord.
Early 80s,
Very
mid-80s.
like it's going to cause a fire type of cord.
Yes, the technology is
Okay. And
not great.
when you first found this box, was it mounted under a desk?
I believe it was on the side of a desk.
Mounted on the side of a desk.
It was hidden away.
Very Dr. No, very Goldfinger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So now this person with this mysterious button on their desk, let's see what the button does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rob's going to push the button. He's pushing it now, and it is shutting the door to the office.
Now, how many people were sitting in this office and saw that door close and got real scared?
Yeah.
What did she think?
Right. Or he.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. Well, it could have been he.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It could have been he.
It could have been.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, look.
I'm not talking about a
These are some
female executive. I'm talking about a male executive.
it's a male executive.
Even if
It's a male executive.
yeah, for sure.
Getting what he wants.
Even if that button wasn't used for assault, just the intimidation alone
I
of
know.
like, you come in and we're going to talk. You're like, so, I've noticed something about your work. And then you hear the click and the door just
Now,
automatically shuts.
Megan also has one, just FYI.
I have one in my
her
office.
So this office had multiple.
Yeah, two.
Offenders.
Assailants? Potential assailants. Can we admit something to you? Can I admit something to you? I love it.
I love it too.
You use it all the time.
You wind up using it all the time.
Now, is there a possibility that the button was installed because in this particular office, there were people that maybe had a disability that made it difficult to get to the door, and so they said, let's just make it easier for there's not a lot of ramps though into this office or anything. No, so
It doesn't lock the door. I feel
That's a
I feel
very
we need to
important part.
mention
It
that.
does not lock the door. Now that makes a big difference.
Now, there should be two buttons. There should be one that closes it and one that locks it.
that's a lot of buttons.
Because if it
You don't
locks
have a
it,
desk full of buttons. Then you look like an operator.
Yeah.
And you're the boss. You don't want to look like the employee without having to push too many buttons.
Two buttons took up a lot of space back in the day, didn't it?
Yeah, we need to see
These days, you can
their
get buttons real close together, and they don't even need to be actual buttons. They can just be on a screen.
No, now you can just say things.
Right.
Alexa.
Alexa, close the door. Alexa, lock the door.
Alexa, lock the door.
Alexa, make this person like me.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or respect me or fear me.
Fear me.
That's what the buttons are about.
Yeah.
Hollywood was a shady place. Not anymore.
No, we sorted it out.
Yeah, we sorted it all out, everybody.
I think, right? We got rid of the bad ones, did we?
Well, we sent some to jail.
Some of them, yep. Some of them went to jail.
got sent to jail. Some of them,
and everybody else. Some sent themselves to Europe.
Yeah, some sent themselves to Europe, which is the jail of the world.
But we.
Yeah.
Europe, jail of the world.
Yeah, shame on you. You'll go to Paris now.
Oh, no. Okay.
But we sorted it out, and all the monsters are gone, and now Hollywood's great.
Megan, when was the last time you ran into a Hollywood monster?
Well, I only work with you guys, so never.
Great answer.
Oh my
Don't cut
God.
that. Don't cut that.
Don't cut that.
Give us time, though. Give us time.
Yeah, give us time.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So what are we doing here today? Well, first of all, we're here to talk about the gang solves the North Korea situation. That's the episode that we're discussing today. But in an earlier podcast, I believe we had discussed some of my wildest dreams, right? Things that I'd grown up seeing in movies, such as sinking in quicksand and cutting open a bag of cocaine and then putting it on your gums, and and then one of them, I believe, that came up over the course of the conversation was kicking in a door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I think, Megan, you set this up.
I tried to get quicksand and cocaine, but it didn't come through. But I found a door.
Sinking in cocaine.
This is what that would be fun. This is when you need a Hollywood monster. Because
a monster is
the person who had that button had the cocaine, and if they were truly diabolical, had some quicksand as well.
Right. Well, he had access to it. He knew the right people to call.
Oh, you want some quicksand? No, bro. I'd sink you in quicksand.
There are benefits to working with monsters. They can get whatever you need.
That's true. You yell at the right person enough.
It's the only way to get someone out of a 4-picture deal. Just sink them in quicksand.
Yeah. But the thing about quicksand is you get to watch it happen slowly, and the person has the opportunity to change their mind, right? So you can pull them out of the quicksand. You're like, you're going down. This is happening.
They should call it slow sand.
Yeah, it's not so.
It's not quick at all. It should be called slow sand. Why is it quicksand? It's very slow.
It is very slow.
But in the spirit of making those dreams come true, and an acknowledgement of a moment of this episode, there's a door that is constantly trying to be kicked open in this episode.
Yeah.
Try to bash it open. I tried my own home keys, which I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great joke.
a good bit.
That was an Adam Stein joke, wasn't it?
There's a lot of.
I don't know.
I think that was an Adam Stein joke.
It could have been.
That's great.
I think
there's a lot of Martyr and Roselle in this episode.
Oh,
a lot of Martin Roselle.
They are all
They're
over
all
this
over
thing.
episode.
Yeah,
all the racist parts. That's them.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
all the racism was Martyr
Can't throw them under the bus like that.
The racism was also us.
I was going to say, are we going to discuss the bamboo flute? Are we going to discuss the?
We made some poor choices. Our hearts were in the right place, but the behavior was wrong. I think as the filmmakers, we made some questionable decisions there.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's fair to say. Charlie, you're a musician. Is that flute called a bamboo flute? Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know. I don't know the racist instruments.
We can't always get it right. Sometimes we fuck it up.
I'll tell you what we got right.
Okay.
Leather dusters.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Doors marked pirate. This is very enjoyable.
Some classics.
I think even you guys doing the
I know.
the judges was very funny.
It was
when we set it up, I was like cringing because I was like, oh, this is one of the ones where we parody something and it's gonna lock us and date us. And then I watched the scene and I was like, it's funny.
It's hilarious.
It's super funny. Even if you don't know the reference, Danny being like, no, it's a no dog. It's nothing.
It might be funnier if you don't know that.
Totally. I gotta highlight Caitlin's drunk acting. I mean, my God, her
Caitlin's drunk acting is fantastic in this episode.
You've got some moments that really made me laugh hard in this episode too. Like your whole explanation of the threat color
color.
Oh, that was a real thing too.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
That was a real. That was a real.
George Bush's
Yes.
color coded threat alert system or whatever that was called. So we were spoofing that, but I also love how like you're yelling, and then you go, and then you know. Dee says something about like you're not going to take over my talent show. She's like, that's already done, and you just completely drop it. You know, we're taking over the talent show.
Also, how angry you are at her for her impression of Rosie Perez is really funny.
You're
Really
constantly like
unexpected.
yelling at her and getting angry at her in this episode in a way that is just so funny to me.
Well, so this is the introduction of the Duster, and I remember it's such a long speech, and I remember getting really upset with myself because I'm trying to deliver it. But it was so long, and I was just trying to get through it as quickly as possible to like get out the information. And I remember that the glasses, that was like a last minute thing where Casey, our prop master, was out in front of Patty's and was like, I was thinking you might want some sunglasses. I'm like, well, let me look at them. And he showed me like a group of, and I just put them on.
Blades.
And I think the first take, I remember walking in with it, and you guys just started laughing. And then from that point forward, it was impossible to get through a tape.
Yeah, that was good. That's a good look, man. It's a fun look. It's a fun look. The Duster is undeniably the most badass coat.
I love the part where you can't hear Dennis on the other end, and you're just that is amazing. When you call him.
Oh yeah. To gloat, and then it's implied that he's like, "Fuck this, I'm coming over."
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't. And then you hang up and you're,
what did I call him?
And then them laughing.
There's a lot of good stuff in this episode, and the twists and turns of the story are really fun. I mean, Danny jumping in the slow-mo shot, which again had that flicker. So I feel like our version of slow-mo in those first 2-3 seasons, we never figured this out. Were we using some different kind of camera?
I don't know what we used for that. Do you remember what kind of camera we used for that particular slow motion sequence? I just remember we used the Phantom when we shot the Christmas episode.
Yes.
Then we must have been using that Phantom thing because we shot the Christmas episode at the end of season 4.
So you have to adjust for the lights to make sure that they don't flicker like that.
I know it's very strange. I did enjoy the addition that I believe we just added in post of the $6 million man. Sound effect.
That makes it really work for me. Yeah,
that's pretty great. Also, your moment where you're like. Where you're like, wait, so you're going to spray my fiance with water, exposing her breasts to the entire crowd?
That's really bad.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know.
Like, there's some dicey shit in there.
Yeah. But we're bad. We're bad.
I know.
But you guys get in trouble for it. It's like
I know.
it doesn't happen, but
Okay, I know.
But the fact that we're like, it's what a change in times, right? Because we knew it's not like we're getting caught off guard here and being like, oh man, these guys are behaving badly. Like, of course, we're like, let's set up a bunch of bad behavior and then have these people
pay the price.
Pay the price and lose. And that was sort of what the show was. And it's interesting to look at it now and say, oh man, that behavior is bad. Like, and no shit.
No, totally. But it's that thing, it's the wherever our meter is. Like when we're in the writer's room and there's certain things where we're like, that doesn't feel right. That feels like it's too far. Mm-hmm. And I think our meter then was just in a different place than it is now. Meaning like it just gives us a little bit more of a...
more pause to even say it.
Yeah. I personally want to get to Glenn kicking the door in really badly because I feel like that's like exciting and fun. And I feel like talking about the episodes is boring. I think it is. But then when I'm out in the world, apparently a lot of people are listening to the podcast, which is great. Everywhere I go, more people are telling me that they're listening to the podcast than actually watch any of the shows we make. And they do enjoy us talking about the episodes and reminiscing. Do you find this part of the podcast exciting? I find it boring.
It's not that you know what it is for me? I sometimes feel like it feels like self-indulgent. It's just like people talking about something that they already did and then patting themselves on the back about it.
And then be like, hey, remember that time?
That's what the podcast is.
Yeah.
That was the original concept for it.
Concept.
I know.
I understand.
It's a bad concept.
I understand the like
we're
the
too
fear
far
behind that,
too-
but
we're in it now.
We're in it now. I will say that I think I can see how it could be interesting. Certainly, my interests in what I like to do align with the podcast where people would be talking about the process.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a if there's a podcast with certain filmmakers, I want to hear every detail,
Right.
but that's me. And I know I'm a limited amount of the audience here. I'm one person, but I don't know. Yeah, I hear you. We should kick in some doors, and that might get us really going on something.
Charlie, before we do though, we're wearing, besides your orange outer shirt or rust colored, let's call it, we're wearing the same colors. Look at your t-shirt.
This is like a charcoal.
gray.
Similar though, very
Yours is
similar.
blue.
It's blue.
This is
And your pants are black, and mine are
for
black.
anybody who's watching on YouTube and for all the listeners. Not only is this boring, but it's not even true. What Glenn is wearing completely different colors than Charlie.
Charlie, we're wearing the same outfit.
They don't know if they don't watch,
A lot of people watch, and I like that Glenn calls them creeps, and I think we should just call them the creeps.
Well, when you call someone a watcher, it just sounds creepy. I'm not saying they're creeps. I'm just saying when you call someone a watcher, it sounds great. It's like call someone a listener. It's like, yeah, listener. You know?
Right. But I think maybe that's kind of fun. That if the audience on the who's listening to this on the drive to and fro work, they're the listener, and anybody who's watching is a creep. I think that's kind of fun.
Okay.
That's the creep audience.
Yeah. All right.
Who wants to look in?
Definitely, try to alienate as many people as possible. Seems like a great idea.
Let's see how many of these creeps want to see me kick a door in.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one for the creeps.
Oh,
This one's for
already.
you, creeps.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna try to kick a door in this office.
Yeah.
We have a door marked.
I'm very excited about this, guys.
am too.
Yeah. Let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Tell me about
before
it.
we get
How
out
are you
there.
feeling?
Yeah.
Are you limber at this point? Are you stretched out? We should have you stretch.
Yeah, I could probably stand to stretch a little bit more.
Okay, how about let's guess how many kicks it's gonna take. I think one.
I think one.
But two at the most. It won't take any more than two.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick a door in. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's get to work here.
Check my angles, guys. Check my angles. Make sure I've got a camera inside as well to get the inside.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then we got a wide there.
so you're gonna kick it in, but what's the story? Like, take us through, because let's take us to a place, right?
How are you feeling right now?
I'm excited. It's a little close.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, same. You did it again. I'm feeling good. I'm not that warmed up. I do want to say.
Tell it to the folks.
Yeah, folks, I do want to make this very clear that I never took martial arts in my entire life.
What?
Really?
Yep. So that.
So what you're about to see is happening in real time.
So you're not even a ninja, and you think you're gonna be able to kick this door in?
Ninjas don't kick in doors. For the record,
They sneak in windows.
They're sneakier than that. They're much sneakier than that. Okay, this is more of a sort of a SWAT team type situation.
Yes.
I like that. Okay.
And can I ask a question? Is it more fun if it's Glenn kicking in the door, or do you want to play one of those characters from the 80s? Meaning you have a story, and there's somebody or something in that door that you need to get to, because you want to say something cool. After you kick it in, you want to come into the door, into your camera in there, and announce something.
That's right.
Who are you looking for? Where's the girl?
Relive your dream here for what's the
What's the
line?
narrative? Where's the girl? Something like that. That could be the villain or the hero. I don't know.
How do you get your kicks? Or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, you want it to be like a one-liner? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go. Is just a great one. Boom. Let's go.
Because I think also commit to it, right? So if it doesn't work once, don't stop. Keep going until it opens. And if you wind up putting a hole through the door, you might have to bash through it like the high C guy. The high C guy.
Yeah.
The Kool-Aid man.
The Kool-Aid guy. Sorry, the Kool-Aid guy.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah. That's what you should say. That's the fucking line. Okay. Oh yeah.
That's the line. Oh yeah. Here it
Okay.
comes. All right. Someone else line.
All right, ready, everybody?
Yeah. Here we go. Glenn's lined up. He's lined up. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
So easy. Now you damaged the door.
Well,
but
yeah.
Come check this out.
I mean,
Let's grab the camera here. You went straight into the drywall. So let me get a shot here. Into the drywall, we made
more stuff to fix.
a hole. So How do you feel right now, Glenn? How do you feel?
An exhilaration that I haven't felt in quite some time. An exhilaration I haven't felt in quite some time.
Mike was too close.
Yeah.
Okay. How does your foot feel?
Foot is fine.
Awesome.
Foot is good.
Well,
All
what
right.
else can we break?
Is this
Wait, we were. Sorry.
What's this one?
Hi, Emma. Hello.
See, people are trying to work.
People are working.
Hi, Emma.
That's, Emma.
This is
We
working.
just broke your door. I'm sorry.
Well, so this one you don't want to break the glass, but out here again. Oh, just for the creeps out there, this is the beautiful L.A. River. Now, I know you've heard a lot about the rivers in L.A. and this is one of them. This is the one.
Earlier, before we were discussing kicking in the door, we noticed there was some real flimsy wood.
Mm-hmm.
And we were thinking, gosh, this was wood that you could almost karate chop right through. It's bendy.
Really wouldn't even take that
You
much.
could do an
would it?
elbow, maybe.
Ooh.
There's another bar underneath it that I'm afraid you could break, but I wonder if you could kick that first.
You could easily kick
So if
through
you-
it,
if
but
you
now,
kick
now
through
we're
it,
we're
and then-
past talking about kicks and we're into chops.
Yeah, I think you could chop through that.
No. There's a good chance.
It's not even full.
It's popping up on the side, but there's a good chance you go to chop this. No, that's
Well, don't
chop-
do that.
Well, don't do that. I think you could chop as hard as you wanted, and you actually would not break through this.
Oh, see, he's making it a challenge, which I understand.
shit. Okay.
I feel like what I want to do, though, is remove this. Because if you remove this, I'm afraid if you go
Because
through
you're
it...
going to chop so hard that you're hoping you'll go through all three pieces of wood. You need to
hand
put
on
something on top of this
Yes.
to absorb the blow, although a ninja doesn't.
I'm not
Yeah.
a ninja. We
Well,
established
again-
that Glenn's not a ninja. I'm not a ninja.
No, and ninjas don't do that. It's too noisy.
Well, I think we've learned that this piece of old particle wood is too tough for the three of us. What about that brick? You think we could smash the brick through it?
Yeah.
Smash
You
it
wanna
on
try
one of our
that?
heads.
Your hand.
Am I the one doing it now?
What,
Or I'll do it.
what's he doing?
I just... Yeah.
Is he breaking
is
it
that
with
gonna
the
work?
brick?
It's like a hammer.
Oh, the brick just bounced right off of it.
But
it did splinter the wood, making it far more choppable.
Okay, all right. Okay, this is exceptionally choppable now.
Yeah.
But
The brick did splinter it from the bottom.
I mean, the security is going to be here like at any second.
Yeah, any minute
Right?
now. We're going to get in
I'll
trouble.
do this with my right hand.
Are these your... Oh,
All right. All right. There. We did it. Now, you're not technically all the way through
He
the
put
wood.
it back.
Well, this is the problem. Yeah. So can you...
Yeah!
We tore it.
We tore it.
I mean, this is what these studios are made of. Just
That's
sexual assault, broken dreams.
broken wood.
This is Hollywood, people. This is Hollywood.
This is Hollywood.
Well, we're back.
Well, we've done it. We've broken things. We've kicked things. And, Glenn, how do you feel?
Wait.
Oh, Rob has pushed the button and is closing the door for the non-watchers,
For the listeners.
for the listeners.
Door's closed. Glenn, how do you feel?
He asked me in his creepiest voice.
How do you feel,
You know,
Glenn?
I think, honestly, that was exhilarating.
Yeah, right?
That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I did not, in fact, stay in character like I promised but then I kind of came out of character because I was like, that was too fucking easy. Yeah. And then remembered I had a line and, so had that been my one take, I would have fucking blown it. But I would like to do it again. I would like to do it again, and I would like to do it again with that's
real door.
a particularly flimsy door. Like,
Yeah.
not
I wonder if it's just the fact that the door is locked, and a lock sort of symbolizes no to you. And you kicking in that lock says, no, I will not be constricted.
Right.
By
Will not be constrained.
constrained by the laws of physics
America.
or America,
city, the county.
or this flimsy door. I am godlike. I wonder if that's why I feel so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been cool to kick the door clean off the hinges. Like that, I bet feels great.
Yeah, that'd be
But that would require the door to really be bolted on both sides from a physics standpoint.
Oh, yes.
Which
right.
I'm sure of the science.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Glenn, you did a pretty impressive spin kick in the episode.
Oh, yes.
To try to kick the door.
I'm sure he's glad you brought that up.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, listen, I again, as I made it clear earlier, never taken any martial arts class in my entire life. And the first time I'd ever attempted a spin kick in my entire life was when we did that bit on the show. And I have to say, like, it shows.
No, I thought it looked good. I think the duster makes it look good.
That's the thing. The duster enhances anything.
Oh, sure. You guys can't give me this. You can't give me this. You gotta credit the duster for my form on my kick.
I'd have to rewatch.
I don't know enough about spin kicks to know
that's fair.
what your form, whether it was good or bad. I think it's good. I like it.
Actually.
I think it looks like a good spin kick.
Yeah.
And I think the duster, I think both things are true.
It enhances
the duster makes it look awesome because there are flaps and leathers flying everywhere.
Yeah, the leathers.
That section of that whole episode is, I think, the show at its finest. But we are arguing about the way, like, we have a conflict, which is that we want to get past this locked door.
Yeah.
But then
we have the same goal.
It even starts even earlier as you're entering the bar.
Right.
We're arguing about who should have
a very
worn the
specific
duster.
goal that you're both aligned with, right? Or aligned on. And then you very quickly are arguing about something, about how to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And who should be wearing the duster.
Mm-hmm.
And the added level of conflict of, I think I'm going to try my keys. No, that's not going to work. But what's really funny is that we're conflicted, but in this particular one, we're not like really at each other's throats about it, which is funny. It's like mild conflict. So like, I don't think your thing's, let me try my thing.
Well, and you're going back and forth, which is like you're there on a mission, but one of you wants to wear you both think you should wear the duster. And then, okay, let's get back to the mission. But wait, both of you are on the same page. You got to drink the beer.
Micro beers.
Let's definitely drink the beer. And then we'll get back on the same page. And then you're looking around, right? You're on the same team. And then Charlie sees the door. Who lives behind that door?
Yeah, that's another great line.
Yeah.
It's like,
what do you think lives? Let's find out. Let's stop arguing about
and find out what lives in there.
Find out what lives in there.
Do you think a pirate lives in there?
Yeah.
Was that pirate private stuff scripted, or did you guys just make that up on the day?
The key thing was scripted because I wouldn't have had a keychain in my pocket.
The key thing was scripted, and I'm almost positive that was an Adam Stein joke.
Yes, I think the pirate joke was an Adam Stein joke.
I think that's what I think it was. I think the pirate joke was an Adam Stein joke.
Yeah.
The key thing I think was my idea.
Oh, it may have been
because I just remember thinking it was so dumb someone would try their own keys, but also like kind of
made sense.
Made just enough sense that you're like, well, I guess it's worth a try.
No, sorry, Adam Stein. I tried to give you credit.
Yeah, I'm giving him credit for the
credit for the pirate.
Arguably the better joke, which is the
pirate joke.
Pirate private. Yeah. Mary Elizabeth reminded me of something that I'd forgotten, but there was a background performer in the scene who, when we were banging ourselves against the door, Fred had to keep giving them the note because the person kept doing the universal sign for that person's crazy, where you crank your finger in a circle and roll and point it at the side of your head and roll your eyes and something no one has ever done ever to describe someone who's crazy. That person's crazy.
Right. What is that meant to symbolize? Your brain is like tumbling around inside your head, like
maybe.
Yes, it's
like a fucking cement mixer.
It's flipping over and over and not where it should be. Yeah, and I remember that being one of the first times that seeing a director like have to tell a background performer like, "Hey, man, take it down
awkward.
a notch." Yeah,
it's awkward. Well, actually, I think the director's not supposed to talk to. It's got to be the AD, right?
That's what it was, right? So the director has to tell the assistant director who can talk to the.
That's a DG. Is that a DGA rule or is that a background artist rule?
It's a crazy ass rule that makes no sense.
It is.
Speaking of crazy ass rules that make no sense, have you guys seen the most recent news on daylight savings?
It looks like we're going to do away with it, yeah? Or is that the Senate voted unanimously?
The Senate voted unanimously. The house, it's not up to the House quite yet. Has not been brought to the House, so we don't know when that's going to
I thought
happen.
things started with the House of Representatives and then went to the Senate. Am I crazy?
I think it goes from the Senate to the House, but I don't know.
I thought things went from the House to the Senate.
I would have thought I would have thought the other way. I would have thought
I love that all four of us don't know.
House has less power, so then it goes to the House, then it goes to the Senate, and then it becomes a bill on Capitol Hill. Remember that? Remember that cartoon?
Yeah, absolutely.
They have an equal amount of power, but each individual member has less power.
That's right.
There's many, many more of them than there are senators. But it still has to pass that. And I just read a whole article about how we as a nation have done this before. In 1970, we did this.
What do you mean?
For 2 years.
We tried it and it never passed?
And it didn't work. And people were miserable. The public at the time overwhelmingly decided, let's get rid of it. And then 2 years later, they're like, can we have that back, please? And it was reenacted.
What? Wait, who? The people? The people wanted it back?
Well, yes, the people wanted it back.
What did the...
Mostly, it was throwing people off to be getting up in the morning while it's dark for such a long period of time.
But it's darker now when we wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it's like ruining people's circadian rhythms.
Fuck your circadian rhythm. I'm sorry.
Well, that circadian rhythm's going to get locked in.
Yeah.
When you just stick with it for a while. That's what wires it in, right?
Well, we can also just shift. Yeah.
It looks like it goes from the House to the Senate.
Yeah. So then what happened? Why did so the senators just decided, we're just going to do this.
Right. So
now we're going to kick it to you.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to do a civics lesson.
This is less exciting than kicking doors down. I
think this is
a civics lesson.
Definitely.
I think this is great stuff. By the way,
I like that people tune in to get disinformation.
Yes,
from us.
absolutely.
That's what's really
that's what podcasts are
or just
all about.
Actually, it's not even disinformation. It's just a lack of information.
Yeah. This isn't. We're serving up zero information.
There's no information being served. I will say I saw some comments on the we were posting. We posted a clip, I think this morning, or maybe it was, I don't know, recently, where we're talking about the daylight savings thing. And I saw one comment on there, because I do like to read some of those comments. And one person was like, saying something like, well, no, we do need daylight savings time because it's important for the plants and the animals to have the maximum amount of sunlight. You know what I mean? Because if they don't, then it's going to affect like the plant life in this. And then somebody commented below them, do the plants and animals know what time it is?
Yeah, that's
fucking idiot. I couldn't tell if maybe they were being.
That might have been a joke. That's almost too dumb. That's almost too dumb.
They seemed, it felt serious. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people have devices and they can write things down now and put them out in the world.
Yep.
And
they're
just like us.
They're not smart.
Just like us.
Yeah, but we can put things out.
We have a major platform and we don't know how the House and Senate works.
We're not smart. I mean, that's a revelation right there.
Yeah.
We're discovering that we're not smart.
Kick in a door.
Charlie was just suggesting that some people shouldn't.
Can you kick in a door?
Can you kick in a door? I don't think so.
I don't know when things go to the Senate, but can you kick in a door?
I know.
I've never seen you make that face before.
I've never made that face.
Can I see it again?
Oh.
That looks like a puppet version of you. Oh, you can't.
He's making a puppet. He's scrunching his face in a amusing way.
I might not know when things go to the Senate, but can you kick in a door?
Well, we had a lot of people trying to kick in the doors of the Senate. That was interesting.
Yeah, we did that.
We did that. We're a nation of door kicker-inners. So
We sure are.
What can we say?
I kicked in a door in the episode prior. Right?
You did.
What was
you
the one?
did.
Yeah.
Yes. We just didn't see it happen.
Well,
it was
the first time
on the inside. Yeah.
The first time we didn't see it, but the second time when I come in the dress,
that's right.
What do I say?
Behold
a man in all his glory.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. If you really want to get into something, Rob, go ahead and needle Glenn about the drinking and water.
Oh, we should do a listener poll. We should do a listener poll. For anybody who's listened to the podcast,
don't make. You're gonna slap another poll on Glenn?
Well, yeah.
He keeps polling you, dude.
Oh, you're just as bad as our government. Just all
these.
I'm fascinated by you thinking that you have this revelation. You've come up with this hangover cure that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, and what is that, Rob?
But what
is it?
It's having a drink and then drinking a glass of water.
Wrong. You're already wrong right off the bat. You're wrong. And this is why I know. And this is why I know that your argument's fucking bullshit. Because right off the bat, you don't even remember what my formula was.
Okay, what's your formula?
No, I don't want to tell you anymore because you're just gonna fucking make fun of me.
You don't want me to reap the benefits.
I'm happy for you to reap the benefits. The problem is that you and you said the same thing earlier. Like, oh, you think you made up the thing. I'm not saying I'm the first person to do it. I'm just saying I discovered.
It's your method.
I'm saying I discovered a way to get drunk and not get a hangover. That's all I said. I didn't say I'm the first to ever do it and no one's ever done it besides me.
It's the word. It's the term "discovered" that makes it seem like it's.
I discovered for myself.
You were presenting it as a revelation to us, as if we.
Yes, but you don't remember what it was. So you're saying it isn't, but you don't remember what it was.
Could you tell us what it is?
I'm happy to. Okay. You pick a clear liquor. I would argue vodka is better than tequila, but either one I think works because they're both they have less impurities in them.
Okay.
And you do a shot of that, and then you like if you're at a party, you drink a bottle of water, and then you do another shot, and then you drink another, and then what you do is you carry around the party. You carry a bottle of water.
You make sure you drink as much water as you drink booze.
Well, you're actually drinking like
more water.
I'd say like around 10 times as much.
Can we rewind the tape?
Yeah.
Just so.
Yeah, you didn't say.
I said for every drink you have, you drink a glass of water,
and that's not my formula.
I'm lost.
Am I being gaslit?
No. I'm being gaslit because define an alcoholic drink. Only clear liquors are alcoholic
Well, first
drinks?
of all, that's the first time I've heard you say clear liquor.
I said that on the podcast when I said the formula.
I don't know if that's true. Okay.
I feel like I recall.
100%.
I had to watch that episode.
A clean, because you're looking for a clean. I think you referred to a clean buzz.
Yeah. Clean
It's gotta be clean, brother.
It's gotta be clean.
When Jill stays sharp.
When Jill stays sharp. She's got a clean buzz.
Yeah, it's gotta be clean. It's gotta be pure if it wants to get inside my body.
Okay, so besides that, the choosing of the liquor.
Yeah, besides that, you got it right. Yeah.
I just like that you guys use that button to close the door, and now you're in here arguing about your polls.
Yeah.
Megan. I was trying to do a joke. It didn't work. I get to cut that.
Yeah, you get to cut that.
Megan.
No, you gotta keep that in there. Keep that for your show.
I just want to say though, I'm not saying that I invented it and nobody's ever done it before. I'm just saying I discovered for myself that was a way of drinking, and then in order to experiment with it, I was like, Jill, you should try this, because we were going to a thing, and she was like, I'm gonna get a hangover, and I'm like, I have a thing, try this, and then she did it, and she was like, oh my god, she had the right response because she actually tried it. Not two people who've never fucking done it.
What? I literally do it every single time I drink.
You drink vodka.
I recognize.
You didn't drink any water in the drunk episode at all.
But I do recognize that the more water I drink, the less hungover I'm going to be. Everybody in the world knows that.
But that was.
Wait, so can you talk about your hangovers that you had after we recorded that episode?
Oh God.
Who had the worst?
Did we not talk about this yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, I definitely had it the worst. Definitely, I had.
Yeah, you got sick, right?
Just because I texted you guys, so I only know I had it the worst because we texted with each other. And
I knew I was like.
Actually, I don't remember what you said.
Charlie drank the most because you had 2 beers.
Yeah,
I had 3 beers.
You had 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oof. And Glenn, I don't even know if you finished that 1 beer, but then Rob and I just did the shots.
Well, I mean, again, I want to. Part of the problem was I didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that I didn't eat anything. I barely ate anything. I had like a couple of bites of something and some potato chips, but like you can't do that and have 7 shots of whiskey. It's just. I was annihilated.
I was surprisingly okay, which made me kind of worried. Like, I got up and did work. Actually, the next day I had to come and break down the whole studio and like put all the mics away and everything. And it felt distinctly like, did you ever do that in like college where you threw a party in your house and then the next morning you had to like be around the party stuff? And it's always like the worst when you have the hangover and you're around.
Just the smell of the old beer.
But back when I was doing that, it was like you would be picking up cigarette, like the red cups puffs with like cigarette butts.
Oh, remember when you like picked up a beer that you thought was yours and you go to drink it and it had a cigarette in it?
That doesn't exist anymore, right? I guess it still does. People are still doing
Yeah, people are still. Well,
It's not as often,
though. Not as
You
often.
can't smoke indoors.
Well, less
in
people
most
smoke in general, I think.
I definitely felt like shit the next day for sure. But I always feel like crap after I drink now, and always in my life did. It's you know,
yeah,
it fucks me up.
I had what basically amounts to the flu for the first half of the next day. Like I was not out of bed and even remotely functional until about 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
That's a shame because you were so fun. Both of you were so fun.
Well, it's also but like bourbon, I don't know. My body doesn't metabolize bourbon well.
Let's do the next one with vodka. Okay. All right, fuck it. Let's do the next one with vodka or tequila, and we'll do the goddamn thing with the water.
And I'm gonna bring.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drink 9 shots, and you're gonna drink all that water, and then you're gonna wake up the next day and you're gonna feel like shit.
Well,
because it
9
doesn't matter
shots.
how much
yeah.
water you have.
No, 9 shots. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. That's
It doesn't matter how much water you drink. If you drink enough alcohol, it will poison you.
Well, I'm with you there. No, I will. Yes, I will concede that. Absolutely, I will absolutely concede that. But
So what you're suggesting is you just drink a conservative amount of alcohol and then also hydrate and also be on a full stomach. And then you won't feel as hungry.
I can see where you're headed with that.
I know you can because you know me very well.
Yeah, I know where you're headed with that. And
I'm gonna let you guys battle that one. I'll have some drinks with you. I'm not drinking 9 shots.
No, I'm saying you can drink.
Fuck this. I won't. At some point, my body will be like, see ya.
You think so?
Yes.
Now you got one more. You got. Let's do one every, every
6
month or
months?
so.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, once every couple months. Your liver's got that in it, don't you think?
Next time I'm gonna bring a breathalyzer so we can see
Absolutely.
because I bet I would have had the highest just because my body weight versus because I drank the same amount, but I should have brought a breathalyzer. We saw someone on Instagram posted that they were watching the drunk episode while giving birth. Like they were in, Caitlin reposted it. They were in labor. This woman in labor and like on her phone, like, well, we're gonna have a St. Patrick's Day baby. And like the podcast was on the TV in the hospital.
That's crazy.
It was wild. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're changing lives.
Do you have a face about that?
Yeah, that was a good one, Rob.
All right. Guys, we're changing lives.
Oh, we are.
Well, guys, this has been fun. Thank you for letting me kick in a door in your office. I really appreciate that. I really do sincerely appreciate that. That was fun. Yeah. That was cool.
We'll make sure Ross gets the invoice. It's a union job, so that's going to be quite pricey to you. But we'll figure it out.
All right.
You know what I just decided? I'm not going to pay for it.
What's up, bro? What up, boys? What's good? This is our kitchen. This is my watermelon. Dude, this is the biggest watermelon I've ever seen. Are you lapped up? No. They can hear me. We have our kitchen, bro. We're cooking. We have our kitchen, bro.
Shit.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Back it up. It's our turf. Back it up.
One of those, certain people only kitchens, or?
Oh my God, dude. Hey, thanks for joining us today. It's over.
I'm a really big fan of MMP LOL, and I love liking and subscribing and interacting with his YouTube videos because he's a really good YouTuber and streamer. Please like and subscribe.
Dude, I walk into Mrs. house and I just see money bags, and I'm thinking, what is stopping me from taking this right now?
Hello.
Synac, not Miss Tim. Literally nothing.
He's the biggest gatekeeper in Austin.
Ooh.
Game Expo all over again.
Actually.
Game Expo all over again.
Oh my god. Jeff Mike. Oh god. Your necklace. You have to put the microphone.
There's like metal
Camera guy,
bits.
help him. The microphone on the outside.
I'm not working. I'm off the clock. Oh yeah, you make fun of my little voice cracky voice, and then now you want my help. Classic.
Yep. You can do redemption to be on my team. 'Cause I will carry. Sorry.
Sit again.
Oh no.
Is it bad?
So today, guys, we got Jeff, we got Finn here. Okay. The backbones of OTK, super cool.
The ones that made it all happen.
The ones that made it all happen.
That's right. We're the laziest people on the team, but yeah.
That's not possible.
Us, baby.
I don't think it's possible to be lazier than streamers, to be honest. Streamers are actually.
Think for yourself.
You are really lazy.
See the shelf I put up in the laundry room?
That doesn't mean you're not lazy. Doing something you want to do doesn't mean that you're, you know, it's easy to do stuff you want to do.
You don't watch the stream?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have not been up this early since high school.
Why you guys got chains on this early in the morning?
Because we're here to.
This isn't the club.
We're here
okay?
to. We're here to impress the bitches.
Are the bitches impressed?
Yes.
Okay.
We do be impressed.
Give me a chain.
Wait, there's one over here.
Chain. I could buy you one. Oh, you have one. Oh my.
You got the coolest
This man took
Wait a
my
minute.
W chain. Are the bitches impressed? I say.
You ruined it with that.
Bitches in the chat, are you impressed? Press
Hey.
1.
So one of these.
Go, stop touching them. Stop touching them.
Saying
Stop.
one of these.
Stop. I'm going to start using nails. I'm going to start using nails. Stop.
Okay, sorry.
Don't touch it.
Uh,
Man, it's really hard for men to understand any sort of instructions in today's society.
Here we go.
You gotta
again.
Oh
my
God.
dude. Or I run an ad. I feel like Christmas. Ew.
Ugh. Oh.
What is this?
Elena.
What is this?
You need a
It's
plate.
rotting, whatever it is.
It's juicy.
Oh.
Ew, what is that?
It's swimming.
It's an octopus.
Bro, no.
Oh, it's leaking. First of all,
Can you get your coffee out of our space?
Thank you. You were taking up really expensive real estate.
Rude. Oh, it's rude. My bad. Oh,
Are you
no.
serious right now?
Oh.
That's like
Oh, wow, my bad.
You guys are so
Wait,
immature.
stop.
We're good.
Fabulous.
Like you're gonna do 2 10 minutes. And
I
I'm
thought
gonna
it was
do
just
And
there.
now
Yeah.
we proceed to
Okay,
beat
then I
the
should
living
wait
shit out of it.
to grill this shrimp.
Beat his ass.
Listen,
He talked shit about
get
your
everything
mom.
prepared
He
and we'll
talked
knock it out in the last 10
sister.
minutes.
He
I think
talked shit
that's
about your
what
brother.
they do.
That's
They're way
Come
too
on.
hyper.
This is crazy. Jeff and Leigh on the same team is nuts. You guys have chemistry.
We do.
Yes, we're funny, both
Yeah,
of
we're
us.
actually, yeah, we're good
Do
people.
you want to know how that
How can
feels?
you be funny if nobody can hear what you're saying?
Stop laughing, mister.
Well, yeah, exactly. We can't even talk, you know?
We do not care, fam. We do not care. We do
See,
not
no
care, fam. We do not
self-awareness
care.
at all. No
We do not care. Just cook the food. We do not care. We do not care. We do not care.
Dude, these guys are assholes.
Jeff and Melina sleeper team. Shut the f up.
You
sir.
bitch.
No,
Or-
sleeper's a good thing.
Fan that. Oh yeah, sleeper. Oh, I see.
Don't be mad by that guy.
Oh, my that guy.
This came straight from the North Pole, man. These are frozen solid. Little fingies are cold.
Oh, little thin fingers cold. You guys a little napkin.
Square up. Where are you? Where are you, Jeff?
Okay. Now
You want to talk to the team?
There you
Oh,
go.
you wanna talk to the
Yeah.
team?
Yeah.
You wanna talk to the team?
Older sister. Yeah, that's right. Back that shit up.
Where's your mashed potatoes? How doesn't that take a long time to make?
Where?
Okay, what are you making?
Can I color? Am I allowed to color?
Whoa.
Why are you asking him like I'm f***ing
Back
pro?
it
What's
up.
wrong
Get
with
on
you?
your side of the
Are you really
line.
gonna do
Get
this
on your
after
side of the
yesterday,
line.
man? Are you
I'm
kidding
Get on
me?
your side of the
Like, you
line.
automatically. Okay, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make very finely sliced potatoes.
Potato.
When we started the timer, restart.
I can't get it in.
I didn't know we started. Restart the f***ing timer. Shut up. You shut up. You're gonna shut up forever right now.
We got time.
2 weeks. Bye,
Oh
bitch.
no.
Look at this. This team isn't.
They found our weakness.
Breaking down.
Melena, wake up.
She's
You're being
completely
one-guide.
She's just
Melena,
focusing
you're
on
wasting
the image.
time.
Ah!
You're being
Restart the
one-guide.
timer, Nick.
Snap out of it.
Don't do it.
Shut the fuck up. Restart the timer.
You shut the fuck up.
Restart the timer right now.
No.
Restart the
No.
timer.
No.
Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Hey.
She said restart the timer, bro.
Why you
She said restart the
why you
timer, bro.
S-wording, bro? Why you
Restart the timer,
S-wording?
bro.
Oh look, I'm Melena.
All right.
I have a vagina. I'm gonna complain until I get what I want.
Bad timing.
Ooh.
Hey, start cooking. Don't listen to these losers. Wait, why are they taking up that
Also,
much real estate?
stop. For once, Melena, stop.
No fish shrimp as well. No fish shrimp.
Can you get out of my way? I need to grab a knife.
I'm gonna hit you with this knife. I'm not kidding.
Dude, please end it.
I'm gonna hit you with this knife. We're doing something. You're interrupting it.
Cook inside. I've been praying since we started, Jeff.
Okay. Here we go. Ooh.
Perfect. Actually, perfect. Like I said it was. Like I said it was. Boy.
Raw.
My name is Big
Raw,
Dick Nick,
rubbery.
and I know how to cook the meats.
Rubbery.
Go, baby.
That's right, son.
Nah.
Beef brisket is a cut of meat from the lower chest wall.
What are you reading?
I don't know.
Your recipe that you've been following.
You are ignorant.
Because you're cheating.
Melena, you know what? If you checked that phone this morning in the shower, you would have saw gangbang porn too. Does that mean I'm
What's
making
up?
porn right now?
No, I know you're cheating.
Bruh.
You're literally cheating.
No way, bruh. You won't even give me this.
I couldn't even look up how to make this.
Yeah.
How can you cheat when Nick did nothing but just
Like, how
put it
can
in
you-
foil and leave it there?
How can you cheat and have chewy f***ing brisket
True.
and
Look at
undercooked
True.
shrimp? This isn't even seasoned. What is this sloppy shit?
Well, where's yours? All I see is this dry ass.
This looks
janky
delicious.
ass.
First
What
of all,
even is
that looks amazing.
I'm gonna make the plating right now.
So yeah, we're
All right.
still working on it too. What's up?
Thank you.
Can I have this part of the cutting board?
No, you can shut the.
Can you get the f*** out
Shut
of my
up, Rick.
zone
The
then?
whole stream you've been talking this whole goddamn stream. Give me my
Well,
fucking minutes.
someone's f***ing talking.
Yeah, talk about shit no one gives a.
Hey, we'll be right back. We'll be
Move
right
over, dumbass.
Couple
I
goals.
can make it
am I
back
right?
on.
Yeah,
Couple
let's see.
goals.
Let's see yours. Lift it up. Lift it up.
Couple goals.
Oh, that looks good.
No, lift it up. Show us what we got.
That looks
Oh my god.
That looks like a tire. That
Oh
looks like a
my
tire.
God.
juicy, delicious.
The only thing juicy about that is
bro.
Melena's
That
fucking
is
juicy
good.
butthole. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
That
this
looks
is
so good.
Perfect.
Okay, Jeff, here we go.
Yep. Presentate.
All right, we created a delicious meal we have here for you today. Pork tenderloins, cooked to medium rare perfection. Juicy, meaty, everything you can want. We have some tiger shrimp, tiger prawn.
Tiger prawn.
2 tiger prawns, cooked to perfection. Look at the outer lining.
It's beef. It's not
Crisp.
pork.
Look at the outer lining. Delicious. Then we have a sliced up roasted potato wedges, slices, garlic, butter, roasted. Amazing. We have for you a mushroom sauce on the side. Pour however much you want. You don't want it? Don't pour it. You know, it's up to you. It's all about the eater experience here. And that's our delicious plate we have for you.
You got a leaf on your plate. You must have blown in from outside. Was that weed? You'll start up here.
Yikes.
What's up?
Imagine not knowing
All right,
what made it.
chef in here. I made my signature fimp. Nick helped out a little bit too. All right, bring them down, baby. Sorry, let me put some of this. Show that. Just low for the dish. Sorry about that. I just had to put some Icelandic sea flake salt on. Oh, what's the? Oh, little. Sorry, little challenge.
Wait, you're seasoning
Anyways,
it when it's
not
done?
even ready.
Hey, shut up! All right, this is my presentation in my kitchen, baby. All right, you're not gonna mess with me.
I need seasoning
Okay,
at the table.
back down.
You're not gonna mess with me.
We got fimp, baby. Need I say more? No. Fimp. It speaks for itself. Asparagus? More like where it is? Here, in my mouth. All right, baby. We got some street roasted, fire roasted, all natural Texas street corn, baby.
Yeah, you put that on the
Hand-
asphalt.
You were about to drop you on the asphalt. You won't say it. All
I
right,
wish
stay out of this
someone-
presentation.
I wish
you're
someone
gonna say
edited
that?
All right, last but not least, motherfuckers. Okay.
Roast
we have,
beef.
We got some fucking brisket. All right. Experimental technique, maybe. But we gave you a fake. So this is what we did. We had a broken thermometer. We tricked you guys, and then we showed you that we made the best,
Prison food
juiciest
ever.
brisket you'll ever eat in your entire life. Made with real fire that Nick had
Dry
to
as
put
hell.
out with water. Smoke was everywhere, and there's elements of danger.
I'm gonna need some water.
That's what we put
that
inside
down.
there. That's the
Dry
flavor.
as
Take
hell.
a look at all that.
I need some water to get
Take a
that
look at
down.
all that.
Give it a try.
Let me try some of this pinch here.
Look at that, baby.
I will try some of their steak. See, when I looked at it, I was expecting Walmart. But when I tasted it, it actually tasted a lot better than I thought.
You got Roost Steakhouse. That's right.
A little chewy, but there are some surprises in there.
Not bad.
Atari. But that don't mean I can't get you there. I guess he's an Xbox and I'm more Atari. But the way you play your game ain't fair.